I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Fancy.
Welcome, folks, to Tales from Godric's Hollow, a very, very special show. I am not necessarily a new face, a familiar face, an old face, but I've not been around for a while, at least not on the mic with you guys. My name is Brent, and I am super excited to be here tonight for a very, very special episode. This is our farewell episode for our very own Muggle, Josh Brown. He is stepping out of the show. So I'd like to bring in all the people. I get to be here tonight and kind of help facilitate the show a little bit tonight. We're going to open up phone lines later. You guys are going to be able to call in, all that kind of stuff. So let's bring people in one at a time, just as they do on the show. We'll start with our very own Dean himself, Joe. What's going on? Wrestler Joe.
What's going on?
You
excited to be
Funko
here.
Pops.
Not excited for the reason we're here, but excited to be here live for the people.
There you go. Joe, is this your first live show, live broadcast?
No, we did a live one for our 150th.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. That actually, I think, might have been the last one I was here for.
Yes, this is
Very
true.
Good. Very good. Well, joining us tonight, wasting no time, because I know this is going to be a show lengthy tonight. We've got the boss herself, Marissa.
Hi, guys.
How's it going, Marissa?
Boss.
It's going really good. How are you guys?
I got to shift myself because I'm in the middle here.
There you go. Marissa, Joe has a wall full of Funko back there.
Yeah.
You've got a wall.
I do. I have a wall.
But you have something more than a wall.
I do. My fiance is behind me.
You have a Leon. There
I
you
do
go.
have a Leon.
We see an arm with a watch. There he is.
There you go.
Well,
Never
welcome
too
back
far
to
behind.
Well, guys, listen, we're going to bring Josh in here in a minute. I don't think he can hear us what I'm saying, so I'll give you a chance to just sort of dish on him real quick. It's his final episode. Anything you want to say that he can't hear, it'll be just between us. Nobody else will ever know.
No, nobody else will ever know.
Yeah, not that he can go back and watch this or hear
No,
this
of course
somewhere
not.
else.
No.
Yeah.
Nah, I want him to hear all my words. I got some things to say.
Oh, well, let's waste no more further ado. He is in the Muggle, not being able to hear a word we were just saying about him beforehand. Josh Brown.
Hello. Actually, I could hear everything. So
I am
Oh, no.
fully aware of that.
yeah, okay. Good.
Good thing.
This is your first time using the program. I was just making sure you knew before you got yourself in trouble.
Yeah. And I'll to anyone out there on the broadcast tonight, this is the first time I'm using this particular program to stream out because we have so many people here tonight. And certain things are limited, and this one was the one that made it available for us to be able to do the show. So thank you to what is this, StreamYard, for helping us facilitate our very special show tonight. But Josh Brown, oh, there it is, Joe. Josh Brown, the Muggle of the show.
I'm here.
Buddy,
Yes.
welcome to your final show, at least as a host of Tales from Godric's Hollow.
I mean, I got my pink slip like a month ago in the mail, signed the dean. So it's not that big of a surprise, but, bittersweet.
Did you really do that, Joe?
Via Eagle Owl.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. And it's funny because aren't deans the guys who actually expel people? So
He had
good
enough of
reason.
my shenanigans and called it good.
Oh.
So
Like, you know what? I'm tired of you getting in the way of me and Marissa fighting. I
Yep.
just want to go full blown out right after her. And we
I've
just
been
get out of the
holding
way.
you back too much, and it's on now. So
You had one of those
That'd be great.
Protego walls that Harry used when Ron and Hermione were going at it.
Mhm.
in a fight between Joe and Marissa, I am taking the under every single time. Every single time. All right. Well, hey, listen, guys, we are not alone. We have
What?
one more special guest
No way.
who is joining us here for the live stream. Who this guy goes all the way back to episode 1. In fact, you might say there wouldn't be a Tales from Godric's Hollow. We would not be here tonight for sure if it were not for this guy.
Atari
He is
Alex.
back.
Atari Alex.
Ding,
Paul.
ding, 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 ding.
No.
Nailed
The
it.
professor himself, Matt Sonnenberg. Welcome back to the
Woohoo!
show, Professor.
How's it going?
I'm Matt.
I give him this big buildup, and I get, how's it going?
Well, after everybody's expecting Atari Alex to show up out of the blue, I mean, I'm pretty sure he only showed up at like episode 15, you know.
Something like that.
Possibly. Yeah.
He missed a few in the beginning.
So the actually I didn't intend for this, but the way this is set out, because I don't get to control who's where, but we've got the two original guys down there next to each other at the bottom. And then
don't touch anything.
Yeah, the rest of us are up here, right? So well, guys, welcome to the show. What do you do in this part? This is where you do your banter. Hey, how about food? Let's talk about that for 6 months.
We'll get to that. Don't you worry.
It'll come up in conversation. Don't you worry about it.
But okay, so anyway, but guys, listen. 100. This is the 195th episode.
Yeah, this episode's coming like 5 episodes early, but we had to do it. We had to send the Muggle off in style. We had to call everyone in, and rightfully so. We want to send him out with a bang, so to speak, because he deserves it.
I didn't want to take away the shine from episode 200, so
of course not.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to come up with something for that.
Oh boy.
I don't know yet. It may not be anything special, to be honest.
It's just like, oh hey, by the way,
you can just reboot it to episode 1 next week and call it good.
Oh dear.
But Tallow 2.0.
There you go. There you go. Well, Matt, I mean, you're coming in. You are the professor emeritus. A guy that so many people on this podcast know. And I'm actually kind of curious for the rest of you guys, the current host. Like I've wondered in the back of my head for so long, of the current listeners to Tales from Godric's Hollow, how many were here during Matt's era, and how many have come in just since Joe and Marissa have been the host? Do you guys have any idea, any concept of what that's like as far as the new people who've come in who may not actually know Matt from way back in the day?
There's a healthy dose of people that have stuck with us the entire time, people that dropped off after Matt left because they were too heartbroken. And then people that are just now discovering the show. We'll get random emails from them. But the cool thing is, like, they're actually going back and listening to the first episodes. Like, they're not starting current, they're actually going back. So every once in a while we'll get an email saying, hey, Josh and Matt, and it's like, wait a second, Matt's not here. This is gonna be awkward for you in a while, but, yeah, so it's a healthy mix of all kinds of listeners.
I don't know if you've ever gotten somebody that just started listening when the new people were on and just listened from there. I think it's usually they go back to the beginning and start from there, which was the point. You get Josh when he didn't know anything, and you follow him through till he forgot everything, and then you go through it again.
Then you get Josh when he still knows nothing. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like you said, that was always the hook. Being able to live this series through the Muggle's eyes. I know that's why when I found this show, I was just searching for more Harry Potter, and then I came across this show, and I didn't like it at first because I wanted everything right now, and they were going so slow, and I'm just like, nah, I can't with this. So
You're
I stopped
trudging
listening.
through the mud.
But then, like a fungus, it like stayed, and I always was like, I wonder what he's thinking of this. I wonder what he's thinking of this. And then I went back like a month later, and then I was like, I'm following along now. This is it. Now I'm hooked.
I know. I like the line. As somebody's live tweeting this show, please tweet out, like a fungus, he stayed.
Joe, you can expect the mail this week.
So, well, with that, I mean, I guess, well, first of all, Matt, catch us up a little bit, catch the people up out there a little bit about what's been going on in your life, in your world here over the last, your last episode on this show was not your farewell episode. You've had a guest spot here and there over the course of time, but lately, catch us up on what's been going on with you.
A lot of stuff. I don't know where to start. Honestly, I have like half a dozen projects I'm working on. Most of them are internet based. And anything from collection stuff to board games to podcasting elsewhere. Honestly, the easiest place, if you're really interested in what I've been up to, check out mattsonnenberg.com. That has a few. It's nothing fancy. It's just a little place for me to kind of keep everything and let people know what I'm up to. One place to point them. I'm still working on actually building out the site, so don't judge me on that. But
Totally judging you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I'm looking around the screens here and I'm realizing everybody's wearing something special for tonight's show. But it's kind of mostly headshots. So, Marissa, we'll start with you. Ladies, always first. Tell us what you're wearing tonight for this very special episode of Tales.
I'm wearing a Tales from Godric's Hollow shirt that says
exclusive.
It's exclusive. I won this shirt. It's actually very exciting. It's the Rita Skeeter Simply Misunderstood shirt in honor of Josh's hot takes on Rita Skeeter.
In honor of the 4 people that actually agree with
you. Yeah.
All it takes is one, Joe.
There you go. All right, yeah, Joe, how about it? Well, go ahead.
Sorry, when Tales released this shirt, I ordered it as soon as it was available, and then the next week I won the giveaway.
Right.
So I was like, Matt, how do I get my money back for the shirt I already ordered?
You get 2.
Yeah, we're not giving your money back. We're gonna give you 2 of these things.
You get a credit or a DA coin.
I already had one of those.
Please take our stuff. Joe, how about it, man? What do you got besides the Funko Pops and the whatever?
I got a classic. I don't know.
There you go.
Mooney,
Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, but Wormtail's crossed out.
Indeed. Had to rep some Potter merch on the show. I was torn between this and some of my Hufflepuff merchandise that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I went with this one.
I'm disappointed in your choice tonight, though.
I feel like last time I wore Hufflepuff, so I wanted to be a little bit more cool.
I want to know where your Dean Thomas shirt is, though.
Oh, yes. You know what? I should have worn that.
I almost asked you to.
Story of that particular shirt there, Joe, because it was great.
Too much.
I even have an updated one. Did you see the one from LeakyCon?
Oh. Nice. Here, see, what I remember though is when Josh and Matt came down to Orlando, and we were wrapping up Josh's first go through. It was like the big celebration, and you came down, and I happened to come down. They were there. Somebody else was with us. Who was it?
Just us 4.
Was just the 4 of us?
It was just the 4 of us. Yeah.
Okay, but Joe's sitting there and he's walking up and he's got his big Dean Thomas. And it's the actor, like big smiley face. And Josh just walks up and goes, Dean.
We had never met Joe at that point, so we didn't know exactly who we were looking for. It's like, he's the guy.
I'm like, hi guys.
Right.
It's me.
And how could we mistake him? So, Matt, what do you got? What do you got down there? I see a couple of things going on. You're layering up there in the Great White North.
Yeah. Well, it started out with the Hogwarts crest T-shirt, but then it turned out to be cold and rainy today, so we threw the Ravenclaw sweatshirt on top of it.
There you go.
That's the wrong colors.
Yeah. I don't have control over that.
I know.
But yeah.
Wait, why is it the wrong colors?
It's supposed to be bronze and blue. If anyone pays attention to the books. Just saying.
Yes.
I was just thinking blue. I gave them credit for the base color of blue.
They make all the merchandise blue and silver, though. And it's
annoying.
It is what it is. Honestly, blue and silver looks better than blue and bronze, even though
I know.
So,
but
in any case,
it's the principle of the matter, really.
Yes. No, I'm the professor, not the principal.
And the dean.
But I picked this up last time I was down with Brent at Universal.
Very nice.
It feels really wrong to be buying a sweatshirt in Florida, though.
Mm-hmm.
It gets cold here.
No.
When I went down,
65.
when I went down last year with my fiance, we went down in March, and it rained practically the entire time we were there, and it was pretty cold. It was in the lower 50s. It was miserable.
Yeah, it does get cold, and I always say, for as awesome as Florida is. 60 and 50 degrees in Florida is different than 60 and 50 degrees up in Wisconsin.
We've been over this, Brett. No.
Just no. Hey, let's get off that. For the record, I'm wearing a Deathly Hallows shirt. I opted not for the Slytherin house shirt tonight because I have graduated.
Don't worry. I got you covered.
There you yes, represent. But Josh,
yes, sir.
We finally come to you. I have been staring at this shirt all night. I love this shirt. Everybody out there is going, why are we talking about their shirts so much? But this particular shirt is a Tales from Godric's Hollow exclusive. You've said it for 194 episodes now.
I think I started episode 3.
Okay, 191 episodes because I was in one episode that you weren't there for. So
that's true.
But you have said this so many times. You've made a shirt out of it. It is your phrase. For people listening to the audio version of this later, tell us which one it is.
Muggle out, of course.
There you go.
How apropos.
Yeah. Fun fact. So when Matt and I first started the show, we were recording episode after episode. We recorded 8 or 10 episodes that first couple weeks.
By the end of the first week, we had somewhere between 5 and 10 recorded. Yeah,
it was a bunch. But after the first episode was awful. No one should ever listen to that. The second one,
listen to it.
Better. We were getting there, but I still didn't know how to end the show. And I think episode 3 is when I said Muggle out, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm working on it. And then your wife, Matt, was like, no, so that needs to stay forever. And Muggle Out was born. So
there you go. I wouldn't know anything about trying to figure out how to end the show.
No. Why would you?
Well, guys,
time out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Request. Marissa, every time you say my fiance, can we just have Leon look up and peek over your shoulder?
I will discuss it with him right now. Don't you worry.
Well, guys, listen, it's been great catching up with you guys, but let's get on with the show. Let's start the show where you guys have started almost every single episode since you at least started doing giveaways. Let's do a giveaway. What do you guys say?
Sure, why not?
I'm just
Joe, what do you got for us? I have no idea what you're doing this episode, so I'll let you take this one.
Well, for the giveaway, it was just whoever emailed in, and there are a lot of you, so thank you for that. But we do need a number, and I'm going to put them on the spot. I'm sorry. But Josh, you're going to pick the number tonight. So it could be any number that you can possibly think of that's not over 50.
Can I make Marissa guess why I picked it?
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
This is your party, as they say.
Boy, that's tough.
Call it The Last Dance, even.
This is tough. Okay, how about the number 2?
The number
2. The number of hosts that are going to remain on the show?
Or the number that have quit?
Have left?
No, that's not why I picked it. No, keep going.
The number of people wearing Tales from Godric's Hollow exclusive t-shirts on this stream?
Nope.
No.
It is show related.
It is show related.
The number of hosts who started the show.
It's possible, but no.
It's possible, but no, that's not the right answer.
Tough, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's not fun being on this side of it.
Well, especially Josh at least had source material to go work off of.
Not last week, Matt.
I mean, that's true. I got nothing.
The number of hot takes that have officially gotten me fired from the show. Rita Skeeter being misunderstood, and Aunt Petunia loving Harry.
Yeah.
See,
get you kicked off.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple more, I think.
Those are the ones that really drive Marissa wild, though.
Little Voldemort needing a hug.
Oh, I forgot about
Come on.
What
baloney?
Old Tommy.
Oscar Mayer style baloney.
Okay, maybe there's a few more than 2. I was being generous. Either way, that's my number.
Indeed.
Cool.
Well, it did produce a winner nonetheless. Congratulations, Jecka Dev from our social media. Jessica, you are the winner of the gift card.
Right.
What kind of gift card?
Amazon?
Amazon. That's the place.
Hey.
Amazon gift card. So we'll get you that Amazon gift card, and you have to take it if you don't want to give it to somebody else. That's how we're doing things here.
All right.
Show
You
got
take
You don't
this
like
free
it
money.
tough. Very
Indeed.
cool.
So there it is.
All right. Giveaways. Hey, are we doing giveaway later at the end of the show? Are we doing
We
giveaway
are
for
not.
next week? Okay.
Fair enough.
All
No
right.
giveaway.
All right. Well, guys, so Josh
Yes.
and everybody really, but Josh,
Yes.
you have now been through all 7 books. Got them right
Twice.
back here. Twice. You've seen the movies. Have you watched the movies at all since the original viewings that you've had of them?
Yeah. I did a full 25 and a
Oh,
half
right.
hour
Yeah.
charity stream
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
with all 9 movies. No, 10 movies.
Counting the Fantastic Beasts.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah, it would have been 10.
8
Yeah.
movies plus 2. Yeah.
So you have done that. We have all read the books lots and lots of times. I'm not sure. Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, I want to toss this one over to you because I want to talk about the books, and we're gonna rank these books favorite to not, or however you want to do it. Joe,
Well,
I'll toss it to you. Go
we
ahead.
ranked them last week,
Yeah.
but we got an email in from one of our listeners, the Dread Pirate Roberts, Matthew, who ended up ranking our episode, the books based on who else ranked them. So we have like official Tales from Godric's Hollow book rankings
Oh, okay.
based on who
Who
liked
wrote it.
what book first. And he had this whole system of how he created the list. But this is the official Tales from Godric's Hollow book rankings according to us and the community. So we're going to run this down from we'll go bottom to top. How about that? So in last place, Chamber of Secrets. That seemed to be the thing for everybody. In 6th place, we got the Sorcerer's Stone. In 5th place, Order of the Phoenix. In 4th place, Goblet of Fire. In 3rd place, Deathly Hallows. In 2nd place, Half-Blood Prince. And in 1st place, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah. Not surprised about that.
I think I mostly agree with that personally.
Mhm.
I've got a couple of shifts, but they're real small. Like
I saw the professor making a face at about Sorcerer's Stone, so I'm not sure what his thoughts are.
Well, I know the professor is the Sorcerer's Stone is one of his favorites. Am I right?
Yeah, the first 2 books, they're not my top 2 favorite, but they're in the top half, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
What's your least favorite, Matt?
Least favorite is probably Order.
Yeah, that's where I
Okay.
put it.
And what's your top?
I always flip flop between Azkaban and Half-Blood Prince. If forced, I'd probably put Half-Blood Prince first.
Okay.
Snape lover.
Well, I mean, yes. Very cool.
All right,
All
so
right,
that's
so-
the giveaway, or that's the rankings.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can we have somebody go through and rank all of the podcast episodes?
Yes.
Alex, I think
Alex,
that's a job
you're
that
up.
you could do.
Thank you for not assigning that to me.
I think Alex has time, you know.
Good
I
stuff.
love it. Well, I mean, Joe, since you're kind of already the center of attention here, we'll keep it with you. It is time for a very special segment, everybody's new favorite segment, one of my new favorite segments, right here. Tales from Godric's Hollow. The harmonica is slowly coming out. He is putting it to his lips as it makes its way through his beard.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Truth or Lies, number 195, the only segment that will outlast its hosts.
Oh my gosh.
I've always had a problem with the way you numbered those since they haven't been 195 Truth or Lies.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No one has gone back and confirmed that, Matt. So
It is.
Confirm nor deny.
It's a part of the Truth or Lies lore. But I got a very special Truth or Lies segment for us right now. So, number 1. Pancakes are better than waffles.
So much lies.
lies. This is easy.
So much lies. What? Oh,
Truth.
no.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Lies.
Truth outweighs the lies. In this
Even
one.
the show says it's lies. Even the show says lies.
Oh, man.
There's nothing like rehashing old wounds. They just wanted to bring that up.
Well, Brent, I think you have to break the tie.
For what? Lie on
Truth
this?
or
Oh,
lie?
lies. Oh, it's lies.
Thank you.
Lies. Waffles. Waffles come with their own holders for butter and syrup.
Yes.
You shouldn't be
Pancakes
putting
will
butter
just
on them.
slide off.
Here's the thing.
What?
No one has ever eaten a pancake and said, "Man, I wish this was a." Or I'm sorry. No one has ever eaten a waffle and said, "Man, I wish this was."
Aha!
And it was a pancake. Every time I eat a pancake, I'm like, "Man, if only there was more deliciousness, just make it a waffle."
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I don't
Exactly.
know. I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know where I stand on that.
And bacon should not be that burnt, Joe,
Thank you.
at all. And I'm sorry if I stepped on your next truth or lies, but it should not be that
No,
burnt.
no, that was the only food one. That was the only
We've already
Okay.
confirmed that many times over.
Because I realize I am on an island with that, but listen, I'll
You
enjoy
are.
the island by
I
myself.
cannot
That's
believe
fine.
you got me talking about food, Joe.
Joe just doesn't like flavors when it comes down to. So
No.
Oh,
that's
it
true.
gives it just makes your mouth salivate. Never mind. Number 2. This is an actual Potter one, guys. Yes. Had Dumbledore not been dealing with his little hand issue, he would not have asked Snape to kill him.
Like
That's
how you
true.
call his cursed hand his little hand issue that he was dealing with. I think the plan that he had, it would have led to Snape killing him anyway. I don't think it purely had to do with his hand issue, as you put it.
Yes.
So-
So you're saying
So
even if
lies?
his hand was 100, if he never put that ring on his finger, that the plan still would have been Snape killing Dumbledore.
I think so.
It
Because
depends on.
It was, I think it was mostly based on, sorry, Brent, Draco having to, like, being assigned to kill Dumbledore. I think that's more what it was based on rather than just his hand being all funky.
Yep. I would agree with that. So
if he wasn't mortally wounded and was going like essentially on his deathbed, he wouldn't ask somebody to kill him.
no, that like we were saying, that's not why he asked him to kill him. That was part of the plan because he knew he was going to die one way or the other because he had the wand.
Oh, he really believed Draco was going to kill him? No, that little punk. He wasn't killing anybody. Dumbledore knew that.
Exactly, and that's why that's why Voldemort had Snape as the backup.
Nobody was going to kill Dumbledore other than that.
Given half a chance, Greyback or Bellatrix would have killed Dumbledore.
But if he
You
was
know that.
full health, no, Joe. This is
Joe, stop.
Could he have stopped it? Yes. Would he have stopped it?
No way.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest Dumbledore defender here, but I mean, he proved
Tonight
time
you
and time
are.
again that I know it's weird.
It's a lot of firsts for Josh's last. Remember his
I
last.
don't think he would have had Snape kill him just because if he was fully healthy and capable of defending his castle.
Brent, what's your take?
My take is Pop Rocks and chocolate are delicious and will really mess you up while you're trying to do a podcast at the same
I
time.
saw your face. I was like, what's going on over there?
It's weird. So I'm trying to eat some Harry Potter themed snacks. So I've got fizzing Whizbees. which is it's just chocolate and Pop Rocks. That's all it is, right?
Sure.
But, like,
Oh,
it's
okay.
delicious. But I'm like bubbling in the back of my throat right now. So I apologize.
Really bad
I'm not trying to
decision.
distract anyone. No, I think honestly, if he didn't know that he was already going to die, I don't think Dumbledore wasn't worried about anyone killing him.
No.
He wasn't like, oh, Greyback's going to come get me or Bellatrix is going to come get me. He wasn't worried about that. He knew he could take them on all the way around. He knew he was already weakened. He was concerned about Draco and that being the plan. Now, the question that I would toss around though is if he wasn't injured in his hand and Draco was still assigned to kill him, would he have still wanted Snape to do that so that Draco didn't have the weight of killing someone on him? You know,
Draco would have killed him.
Do
There's
what?
no way Draco was going to kill him. Either way.
But even trying to kill him.
No, Dumbledore would have just brushed him aside and
Yeah.
called it good.
Yeah, my short answer is no. I don't think that. I'm sorry. Would that be a truth or a lie? Whichever way it is.
It's
The answer is no. I don't think Dumbledore would have wanted Snape to kill him if he wouldn't or wasn't already going to die anyway.
Here, there's actually a follow up. Would Snape have made the unbreakable vow had he not agreed to kill Dumbledore if Draco couldn't? Ooh.
No.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Had Snape
immortality.
had Snape would have agreed to the unbreakable vow, had they not worked out the fact that Snape was going to kill him anyway.
I feel like we had this question one other time, and I can't remember what I answered that time either.
He wouldn't have risked his own mortality because if he died, then he would essentially in his head be failing at protecting Harry Potter, which would be preserving Lily's legacy, which would just hurt him even more so. So he wouldn't put himself into a position where he would die because he's messed up in the head.
Yes, Kate, I believe Voldy would have killed Bellatrix. If he was willing to kill Snape, I think he would have killed Bellatrix.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my take, I was throwing it back and forth until I remembered the unbreakable vow, and when the unbreakable, if Snape made the unbreakable vow, then I think Dumbledore would have let Snape kill him still. So in that case, I would go with lies. Number 3. All right. Josh's most shocking theory was Snape's crush on Lily.
Yes, truth. Mm-hmm. I still don't understand.
I will say that is the only time I felt I actually had to bite my tongue on the show.
Did you mute yourself at that point?
I don't think I ever muted myself, but
Okay.
because we didn't have video going at the same time, I just pulled way back from the mic, and
You're just
so
like, what?
any sound I made, he couldn't hear. But yeah,
Yeah, that thing.
that was the one. I mean, because he the way he phrased it is it like it was a very Josh phrasing, but the meaning behind it was exactly how it played out.
It wasn't Mrs. Potter supposed to be Mrs. Snape or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I still can't get over it.
When did he
I don't
come up with
understand.
that theory? When did he hit that one? It was real early, wasn't it? Like
It was
wasn't
in book
super late.
3,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think. I don't remember. All I know is that I was driving home from work as I was listening to the podcast. I was still way behind, and I emailed Matt and I was like, I'm not caught up yet. But so the fact that he said that about Snape and Lily blew my mind. It's crazy.
I would say it's lies. Because
What
I
do you
think
got?
that was one of the most obvious ones. Other than like Snape being Half-Blood Prince, which is clearly the most obvious. I am still pretty fond of the cat lady prediction. Because that was so early on to where I shouldn't have had any.
You shouldn't have had any inkling that that's how JK writes stuff.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Like if we're even in the second book and it was at the beginning of the second book, yeah, then you can pull something like that. But this was right at the beginning of the first book.
Yeah, I think it was like the first couple chapters. He was like, "Oh, by the way, Cat Lady's coming back.
We'll see her again. Don't worry."
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to think that.
That was actually mine. The cat lady.
Huh.
Yeah, because it was so like. Okay, so Adrian, for example, when we were going through this stuff on our Alohomora Hogwarts podcast, she actually theorized that if Snape is good, there has to be a reason for it, and she brought up the fact that he loves something or someone, and so I feel like love is a strong force that'll make you do stuff, and it'll stick with you and drive you, whereas so that would be a reason why like Snape would hate James and do all this stuff, whereas the thing with Mrs. Fig was just so stupid and so random and so right that I have no idea how that was even possible. It was just so out of left field.
Yeah.
Like, where would you even get that from? Like, why would you even think that? Oh my God. So that to me was
it's crazy.
For me though, I got to tell you my favorite theory, and it wasn't true.
Oh, dang it.
But my favorite theory, and it still sticks with me, is where he said Sirius is Darth Vader.
Yes, that's so good too.
I remember
that was my absolute favorite one.
I don't remember the content.
You were trying to figure out who Sirius was, and I don't think they had revealed yet that he was the Godfather.
Right.
And you like, oh, he's like, what if he's actually Harry's father? Like, he's Darth Vader.
Oh, okay. Not actually Darth Vader.
No, just his father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He is the father.
Right. And all of a sudden we have James and Sirius at Maury Povich.
I mean, all I'm saying is it's not confirmed to be wrong.
Yeah, Harry just happens to look exactly like Sirius's best friend, though. Except for the eyes.
Josh. Who cares?
Except for the eyes. He definitely has Lily's eyes.
I've seen the movies. They don't look anything alike.
Moving on. Number 4.
I'm going to get you a sound effect for those, Joe. Number 4.
Marissa, I don't know if you can answer this one. So
probably not.
You can sit and listen. But if you want to jump in, go right ahead. Josh was overly dramatic about the drop on the Gringotts bank ride.
Truth. Heavy dose of truth.
Can confirm truth because I've heard the stories and it's not that bad.
Oh,
he made it seem like we fell 20 stories and it was literally like 12 feet.
I can tell you that the mummy ride is worse.
I lost my breath. There's like so much altitude lost immediately. I was like,
I think it's because you
what ride were you on?
The back of the Gringotts bank ride.
He got free because the person who was leading us into the rows was just like, oh, the back is always the best. The back is always the scariest. And each one said it as we were getting into line.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't help that everybody attending that ride basically hyped up the back. It's like, oh yeah, it's the wildest. It's that, you're going to get the biggest thrill. I'm like, don't tell him that.
And as we're getting up there, I'm counting people. I'm like, these numbers are not really good right now.
The odds are not in my favor.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a couple of heavy people on this ride. That's gonna make us drop so much quicker.
Wow.
So not over dramatic.
So it's a bunch of truths and one lie. All right.
I'll tell you. Wait, I'm sorry. I'll tell you a drop that Josh completely over dramatized though. Was the drop on the Snow White ride at Disney World. I'm looking for picture evidence, but he was
Snow White.
Yeah.
The mine train?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wow,
Yeah.
scary.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail that conversation, Joe. Go ahead.
Derail.
No, it's totally fine. I wasn't there for that
Disney
though, so I
podcast.
don't. But I can imagine it for sure. Number 5. Josh's most annoying take was defending Rita Skeeter.
Lies. It was Petunia.
In my run, I think it was Rita Skeeter.
Sure.
In
Yeah,
your
I didn't
run,
get the experience.
I think it was Petunia.
High five. Yep.
I think
Josh
I'm.
can't answer that.
I got nothing.
I think I'm going with truth. I think the Rita Skeeter one, specifically in the first read, it was a lot harder in the first read than it was in the second. But
I feel
think
like
that annoyed me more.
I feel like by the end of the first read through, though, like it went up and down with Rita. By the end of it, like I went with where she was in the story and changed and shifted a little bit. Whereas I've been pretty firm on the Petunia one.
Mhm.
You're trying to get us to switch.
No. No. Yeah, go ahead.
I think with Rita, what happened was you knew that you needed to change the narrative a little bit, but at the same time, as a journalist, you wanted to defend journalists overall.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And so that kind of you stuck with defending her, even though like you're stuck in the middle, trying to defend her while still trying to hold your original point of view.
Right.
And it didn't quite work out.
Yeah. I think the reader one was longer though, like over the course of several books.
Sure.
Whereas like the Petunia one is only brought up because I could feel the eye rolls from Marissa every time I say it. Other than that, there's no really reason to bring it up other than when it happens and it's obvious that she loves Harry. But other than that, it's just to poke the bear a little bit.
That's what it was right there.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Well, you like poking the bear, as do I.
A little bit.
I was about to say, so do you. Both of you.
Josh, I'll tell you what the absolute most annoying theory was though. In your entire run.
Crookshanks?
No.
Oh.
No,
Oh,
that
great.
one was fun. That one was a lot of fun.
I couldn't wait till you found out that Crookshanks was a half Kneasel.
Just a
That
cat. Was just a kid. I mean, Kniezel, but whatever.
It was just a cat.
Yeah. No. The absolute most annoying theory that in Josh's entire time on Tales of Godric's Hollow is the idea that pancakes are better than waffles.
I never said that. What are you talking
No, but he did while you were on the show.
Yeah.
The wildest theory encompassing everyone.
I see. Yeah, Joe.
I feel like I'm on the Brady Bunch. I'm like,
Trying to figure out which way is which.
right. Because everything's backwards.
Going this way first.
Yeah.
All right. Last one.
Right.
Number 6. This is an important one. Josh would have eventually gotten into Harry Potter if Matt never pushed Josh to start the show.
I have to trust Matt's judgment and say that was lies.
That is a lie.
Val tried to get me to it, didn't work. Went to the theme park, didn't work. Didn't care about it. Matt, you saw how uncaring I was. I was like, well, the butterbeer is good.
Yep.
And then Matt was
Didn't
like,
even try.
Let's go check out Jurassic Park.
Podcast. The magic word podcast.
I don't think I ever would have gotten into it. Nothing has happened over the last several years. Okay. Actually, I'm changing my entire opinion. I probably would have seen Fantastic Beasts.
Nope.
I would have rented it. I would have seen it at the theater. I think I would have rented it. You know why?
Why would you?
Because the animals were cool. And nobody told me my entire life that Harry Potter had amazing magical creatures in it. if somebody had told me that years ago, this whole thing would have changed.
Like, I understand you have a huge love for animals. Like the zoo has always been your thing.
Right.
But I don't believe that you would have even given the trailer the time of day, because if someone told you, what is this Fantastic Beast? It's like, oh, it's part of Harry Potter. Then, oh, okay, I don't care about that.
I would have read books. Here's the thing. Twitter wasn't a thing when the first Harry Potter movies were coming out.
True.
But like, I don't think I would have been able to escape the trailer of Fantastic Beasts if I had zero interest in Harry Potter franchise. Because of social media, I think I would have seen the trailer. It would have come across at some point in my life. I would have seen the Niffler, and
just
I would have been like, I'll check it out. But like Redbox, like I'm not day one going to see that in the theaters, but I would have rented it. I would have checked it out, and then a whole world would have opened up. I would have been like, okay, so are these things in the rest?
Is
of
there more of this?
Yeah, like what are we talking about?
Yeah, would it have been enough for you to be interested in the original series, though?
I would have probably at least watched the movies. Regardless of everything I just said, there's no way I would have read the books. So that part I would stay firm on. But I probably would have gone back and checked out the movies. Maybe done like the Joe thing and started with like movie 5 and then go to movie 2 and then movie 7 and then maybe movie 1 and then 8 and then 3 and just dabbled in all the ones and then saved the best one for
dabbled in the dark arts.
Yeah, it would have been a weird, wild journey through the movies, but I think the movies would have at least happened and I would have like an ancillary knowledge of Harry Potter. But as far as reading the books, not a chance.
Lies, all lies.
I like to hope that maybe a Muggle in his 60s would be sitting on a rocking chair and one day think, let me pick up this book that I know was super popular back in the day, and let me just rock next to my little pup, Robbie.
Good old Robbie.
I'm holding out hope. I'm saying truth.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Who's to say?
All right. Well, that has been Truth or Lies. I don't have my music box, so
double harmonica night.
All right. Well, now that that's over, no.
Not that the controversy's over.
Well, hey, listen, tonight it's about a lot of fun. It's about getting to talk a lot about Josh, really, man, and your journey here through the Harry Potter deal. Remembering how long has it actually been now? Do you know? Is it 4 years, 5 years? Where are we?
Our first episode was, oddly enough, like September 1st. Like unintentionally, that's what happened. I don't even think Matt planned it that way. So a little over 3.5 years, almost 4 at this point.
Wow. So we're here to talk about all of those things.
Is that a call?
It might be.
Is the number live?
It's not. I was getting ready to intro it. I don't know if this person is actually for the show, but let's find out. Who is on the line? You're on the line with Brent, Joe, Marissa, the professor, and the Muggle. Who do we have here tonight?
Hey, it's Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Yay, for the show. Yay.
Woohoo!
That's for the show. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing good over here. How about you?
Good. Yeah. Just took a break from some of my friends watching the new show. And Never Have I Ever. So that's really good. If you guys like teenage drama and Mindy Kaling.
No thanks.
Mindy Kaling.
Mindy.
I'm all about the teenage drama.
I was going to say, we've been reading Harry Potter for the last 4 years solid. Yeah, we're
Love
good
teenage
with
drama. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really have like any questions. I just wanted to say thanks. It's been wild ride. Was really surprised to see Matt on, so that's really awesome. So glad you got to come back for that. And Josh, we're really gonna miss you.
Aw,
Thanks for everything.
Thank you. And you have no idea how much we had to pay Matt to be here.
Yeah.
It's what all your Patreon funds have been going towards.
Matt guest host.
Thanks so much, Caitlin,
All right,
for calling in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, totally.
Caitlin, I have a question. I have a question before you go.
Okay.
Can you think of your favorite Muggle moment over the time you have been listening? Like what is the one thing that Josh has done or said, or his one take that has rang out to you, whether you agreed with it, disagreed with it, laughed full belly, like what is that for you and Josh? Putting you on the spot.
There were so many things. Yeah, there were so many moments that, like, when I was in the Gambit, I'd like bike and listen to it. So any moments where I would have to like slam on the brakes and like immediately start writing my email or something. So I'm trying to think of that. And I want to say it has to be the throwaway with Hermione is gonna like maybe like chime or something, or the Snape and Lily. That one always got me because he said that a few times, and I was just so mad and also loved it. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right there with you.
You hope that the luster of that reveal doesn't come off the fact that he even remembered it. You hoped he didn't, which there was a good chance that he wouldn't. So
yeah, but no, that one was one he stuck with. So that was also definitely two of my favorites. Definitely the Hermione one because it was more throwaway than anything else, but it was still just one of those like facepalm moments. Like seriously,
I had a lot of those.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. Enjoy the night.
Thank you so much, Caitlin.
Thank
Definitely,
Thanks,
definitely
Caitlin.
appreciate it.
Appreciate everything.
There we
Yep.
go.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.
That's fun. First phone call off the board. That first one's always the hardest to get, guys. I'll tell you. I've been doing this a long time. But with that, I guess cat's out of the bag, guys. The phone line's open. Those of you who are joining us live here, or maybe you're not joining us live, you're just out in Twitter land somewhere and you wouldn't be hearing me right now anyway. But wherever it is, you guys want to call in, you can call into the show and you'll get a chance to talk to Josh. Maybe you want to share a favorite memory that you've had of Josh over the last bunch of years. Maybe you just want to call and say thanks, say goodbye, wish him well, berate him for leaving the show. Whatever it is you'd like to do, you guys can do that. That number, we've dropped it over in the chat room. It's 864-729-2827. That's 864-729-2827. You guys just call in. We'll pick up the phone and we'll talk to you guys. And speaking of which, here comes the next phone call in. And hold on just one sec. Got to make sure I bring it over. They're calling on top of each other. Who do we have here? You're on the show with Tales from Godric's Hollow.
Hi, this is Temple Austin STC Ravenclaw.
Hey!
What's up?
Hey! I did get the chance to meet a lot of you during LeakyCon, which was awesome. But I just wanted to say to Josh, it was so fun being able to kind of live the story again for the first time for you. And that's what made this podcast so special at first for me. And I cannot thank you guys enough for doing what you did. And a special shout out to the professor because I don't know how you got through that first set of readings without breaking a sweat, without breaking the rules, without missing a beat. You definitely kept it all in line and kept the secret. And it was really, really special. So we wish you guys the best. And thank you so much for what you've done.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.
TC.
It was a lot of fun.
And it was great meeting you at LeakyCon also.
For sure.
Definitely.
It was fun.
Definitely. Here. We have some people asking about an international code. I don't know what the internet. I've never done an international call-in.
One.
Isn't it 001?
No, just
again?
one.
Just one.
It's just one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Okay.
It
The
works.
number one. That's what Josh is in our
Is it
hearts.
like 1-1-8-8-6-4?
No.
It's just one, like for anybody
one.
around the world.
1-864-729.
The U.S. international code is 1.
Because we're number
Because
one.
we all
Number one.
Anyway, So yeah, that's it. For those of you in the chat room, you want to call 1-864-729-2827. That's 864-729-2827. We actually had a couple of calls coming in right on top of there, so I had to decline somebody. So if that was you, call us back. We'll be able to take that phone call. So that is that. So you guys are calling in. We'll take it. Just interrupt us. And we'll take your phone call.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Let's see here. I'll throw that up. All right. But with that, while we wait on the next phone call, we got a bunch of emails to get through tonight. But before we get there, guys, Josh is leaving the show. The show will never be the same. Like when Matt left, that was one thing. We still had the Muggle. You know, the Muggle's going away.
Yeah.
So what is going on with Tales from Godric's Hollow from here on out? Actually, but before you get to that, let's pick up this phone call and bring them in to the show here. Uh-oh. Hey, turn us down in the background if you don't mind, because we can hear ourselves. And tell us who we got calling here.
Yeah, this is Appy.
Hey, Appy.
Hi, Appy. What's up?
Yeah, international numbers, right? By the way, you just have to add a plus in front of the one. So,
Awesome.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're dumb Americans here.
I managed to get up for the call just to say thank you, Josh, for starting the podcast. And thank you so much, Matt. I never really got to talk to you because I started emailing the show after you came on, after you left. So
You're not the only one, I'm
for
sure.
that. And my son Joe, hi to you guys.
Hey.
This is so exciting.
Yeah, we're so happy that you called.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's awesome for me as well.
Yeah, how are you doing, by the way? Everything's good?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good.
Good.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to sleep probably, or I'll just continue running.
Oh my God. What time is it where you are right now?
By the way, shout out to you.
All right.
What time is it where you are right now?
It's 7:30 in the morning, which is actually a good time to be awake, but lockdown, and I'm not going to bother doing that.
It's morning, but I'm going back to sleep.
Sleep in.
Abby, you are my kind of person. You are absolutely my kind of person.
Thank you.
I love
and I'm stuck at my parents' place during lockdown, so I'm taking advantage of that.
There you go.
Awesome.
Abby, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening, Abby. And thanks for calling.
Guys. Yeah, bye, Josh, again, and thank you all. Thanks to everybody else, and stay safe, everybody. Bye.
You too. Take care.
You too.
Thanks, Appy. Yeah, phone line's clear. You guys want to call in 864-729-2827.
Quickly, can you guys hear the fan on in the background for me?
No.
No.
I
Okay, good.
listen very hard, but not really. No.
Are you talking about the biggest fan, Leon?
Exactly. Okay, well that's not good.
Anywho, the new show.
Yeah, the new show. Yeah, what is going to happen here with the upcoming deal here with Tales from Godric's Hollow? Where are we going next?
Well, when the Muggle's away, the kids will play. So, yeah, luckily, well, not luckily, but me and Marissa have done this before. We've lost a host and we've had to fill in. And I think we've done a great job with the three of us. Unfortunately, we're losing Josh this time around, but we got a couple of new ideas for the show. And I don't want to scare anybody, but things will be new. There will be a new format. The shows aren't going to be as long as they used to be. But we got a lot of stuff planned. I'm not going to go into too much detail as far as like the format of the show, but we will be covering a lot of things that you guys had asked us to cover if Josh were still here. So we're still going to do those kinds of things. So we're gonna cover fan theories. We're gonna cover different side stories in the Potter world. We're gonna cover some fanfic. We're gonna cover some a very Potter musical. We're gonna cover a lot of different things and different themes throughout the book. So we have a schedule that we're gonna give out to you guys. We're gonna hope to stay month by month with the schedule, and yeah, we got a couple of new segments that we're gonna be doing, which is exciting. And yeah, just realize that it's not going to be the same show. Like, don't change can be good too. So I know you're gonna be hoping for the same things, and that you may not get. Hopefully, you get the same entertainment value. Hopefully, you like me and Marissa enough where you'll keep on listening, and we plan on continuing to provide that entertainment and hopefully that deep dive into the fandom and the book series and sometimes the movies that you guys are hoping for. But there will be some things that will be different too, and I hope you guys are open to it. And I know we're really excited for it. There's a couple of things specifically that we're excited about. One of which I want to throw over to the professor for. Actually,
well, before we do that, Joe, and so that's a great spot. So Marissa, we'll come right back to you with whatever this special thing is. But we do have a caller I want to bring into the show. Who is on the line with us here at Tales from Godric's Hollow?
Hello, this might be a little bit of a throwback, but this is actually Sarah with an H.
Hey, Sarah with an H.
Sarah, what's
Welcome
up?
to the show.
It's been a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was with the show from probably pretty close to the beginning, and I binged through and read through with you guys up until about the time Matt left.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
So
It crushed all of us. Believe you me.
So what happened was I actually started a PhD. I moved to Utah and adopted a cat and started a PhD in math, and so I just got too busy to keep up with all of the listening and all of the reading. But it was a very I actually started grad school once before, took 2 years off to work, and then came back. And it was kind of during those 2 years that were the 2 years of going through the series the first time. So it was kind of, you guys were there for me. It's kind of an interesting transition point in my life. So definitely wanted to call in and wish Josh well.
Oh, well, thank you. It's nice to hear from you again. Over the course of the years, I think we lost all of our Sarahs and Kates and Katies. And
Right.
Yeah, there are a lot of them.
Yeah.
No, it's nice to hear from you. I'm glad everything's going well for you.
Yeah, that's good.
Sarah, what's the one thing that stands out for you for reading through with Josh that first time around? Whether it be something that annoyed you or something, a theory that he had that just blew your mind.
I actually loved during the second book when Josh got his dog and named him Dobby.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, how is Dobby doing, by the way?
He is doing fantastic. He is living his best life. He is still as chill as ever. He enjoys long walks in the park, sleeping in the sunshine, and just being the best house dog ever.
I remember when Josh announced that they were renaming the dog Dobby, and we were all like, "Oh no!"
I couldn't tell him at that point.
We can't tell him what happens.
Oh, it was so sad.
And didn't Dobby get lost the same week that the Dobby in the book died?
I remember something like that. Something happened to dog Dobby the same week that Dobby R.I.P.
Yeah, I don't remember when it happened in the book, but yeah, he did have a little adventure outside of the yard for a good hour.
I think I remember that too. Yeah.
Dramatic. He has not escaped since, so
Good.
yeah. He's too lazy.
There you go. All right, Sarah. Well, thank you so much for calling back in. You and I are we're from the same era. I get exactly what you're talking about when you talk about kind of being there through weird transitions and up through that. It certainly was great. So it's great to hear from you. I certainly heard from you a lot through the emails and stuff over those years. But thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good rest of the show.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks,
Bye.
Sarah.
All right, guys, phone line's clear. You want to call in 864-729-2827. Boss, you were about to give us a little hint, a little clue, a little look behind the curtain of what's getting ready to come.
Was I?
I was passing to the professor.
Oh, the professor. I'm sorry. I was
like, huh?
triple tracking. Apologize. Professor, what do you have to do with anything going forward?
Well, the professor may be partially coming out of retirement.
What?
Da, da, da.
So
this is my surprise face.
You probably won't be seeing me or hearing me on the show proper, at least not on a weekly basis. But I did want to kind of step in. Like I've been gone for a year and a half now. Things have changed again. I have a little more time, and I miss Harry Potter. Right? It's it happens. I need that dose again. So I will be coming back in some capacity. I like to think of it kind of as a consultant, perhaps, doing a lot of the planning behind the scenes stuff, since there will be a lot more planning that has to go into the show now that it's not just read the next 2 chapters. Of course, that's what we're doing. So
Right.
Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I'll be handling some of the social media stuff, some of the extra things that we're putting together. I will have some part in, and you may see me from time to time, either online or on a show. But yeah, I will be joining the crew behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
He's back, baby.
There it is. Big news.
What Matt's not explaining is he's going to be back on a weekly segment called I Ship It, and he's going to pick 2 characters and randomly talk about shipping them and why it works.
And the intro is going to be with an accordion.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be great. It's
Maybe
wonderful.
a ukulele.
I actually know multiple people who play the accordion, so that could happen. But
do they
You
call
heard
it
it
the
here
squeeze box?
We need a squeeze box version of the Harry Potter theme.
Yes.
I'm sure I
You'll hear it next week, people. No.
All right. Well, hey guys, listen. Phone lines open 864-729-2827. That's fun. Joe, is there anything else, or Marissa or Professor, now that you're coming back, anything else you want to tell us about the future of Tales from Godric's Hollow? Or are we just going to have to wait?
I'll leave it up to the 2 of them how much they want to share right now.
Well, boss, yeah, you talk first if you wanted to share anything.
I know a lot of people have asked, and Josh has told me several times that I still have to reread Cursed Child. I will not be covering that exclusively on the podcast. I will actually be doing a blog that will be on the website about my reread of that travesty of a production. But yes, so that's something that will be different.
Don't call it that, because you never saw the production.
Okay, a travesty of a script that's trying to be a book. Is that better? It's fine.
Is it trying to be a book, though? Is it?
It's
or
in
is
a book
it a
form.
script that people put out to make money?
Okay, I like scripts. I acted for years in like high school and college. I enjoy reading scripts. I did not enjoy reading that, but I will try to give it another chance. But it'll be in a blog form on the website. So
cool.
All right. Well, hey, listen, guys, we got another caller. Let's find out who is calling in. You are on the line with Tales from Godric's Hollow, the Muggle Farewell Show.
Hi, it's Trista.
Hi.
Trista, what's up?
Hello. Hi. This is my first time calling in, and I got really excited because it's Josh's last show, but like I'm also it's bittersweet for me, but I thought I had to call in, and I'm in the middle of my work at the hospital right now, but I didn't care.
Thank you for your service during this time.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's it's been crazy, but hey, I just wanted to thank you, Josh, for everything that you contributed to the show, and you've made me laugh, you made me cry. You actually helped me get a date because I was talking about the podcast, and I was like, he totally just predicted that Snape is
the Half-Blood Prince, and this person got into the show with me, and then we went on a date, and it was good. It was all thanks to you.
Wow, love is coming together. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, just thank you all. I don't really have much time, but I just wanted to thank you all, and thank you, Brent, for always doing the behind-the-scenes work, and Josh, thanks Val for paying a big contribution to the show as well behind the scenes, and thank you so much to everybody. I just really appreciate you all for making me laugh and cry and all the other stuff.
Well, thank you for listening,
Trista,
and being part of this awesome community.
Yeah, thank you for your support. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you, Trista.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Stay safe.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, and definitely for any of the healthcare workers out there, guys, listen, thank you so much for what you guys are doing. The essential workers, people, just people at grocery stores and gas stations and people who aren't taking time off during this time. You guys are just rocking, keeping our larger community rocking and rolling with that. So, all right. Well, guys, I think the time has come. We have a lot of emails.
Yes, we do.
And
Indeed.
I'm sure several have been coming in while we've been talking. I don't know. I haven't actually been tracking.
A couple.
But Joe, you told me before we started, and I forget, who are we going to start with reading emails? Because we're going to kind of do a little round robin. Marissa.
Yeah, we're going to start with the boss.
All right. Boss got email number 1.
All right. The first email we have is from Marie.
Hi, Marie.
I think she actually wrote in
She
right
wrote
after
it.
we made the announcement.
Yeah.
So Marie says, "Hi guys, I was absolutely devastated when I heard Josh's announcement. I'm afraid I didn't even manage to finish the episode and have only felt up to writing this email today. At least I no longer burst into tears at the thought of the podcast. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make anyone feel bad, particularly Josh, who's doing the right thing in focusing on his family. It's my own fault for making Tales from Godric's Hollow the highlight of my week. Well, I hope you still make it the highlight of your week moving forward. Hopefully. And Josh, I hope none of this sounds weird coming from someone you've never met or even spoken to, but thank you so much for sharing so much of your time with your listeners. I've laughed with you, cried with you, and if it's not too presumptuous of me to use one of Luna's lines, it was like having friends from the moment I started binge listening to you and Matt. You're such a warm-hearted and interesting person. I'm going to miss your mostly insightful and occasionally wacky perspective on not only the Harry Potter series, but waffles, sports, and everything in between, even your defense of Rita and Petunia. How aren't you a defense attorney?
I don't have time for school, that's why.
You're a good man, and it's been an honor, and all the best to you, Val, and the kids. Perhaps when all of this is over and that stupid virus has been defeated, we might hear you hosting an occasional Tales from Godric's Hollow episode. I'm going to stop now before I start crying again. I can feel my throat tightening as I type. Lots of love and best wishes, Marie. Thanks, Marie.
Thank you, Marie. Actually, fun fact, I'm going to come back every once in a while and just do these for everybody.
Approved.
Yes, my favorite segment.
Y'all learned what adjectives were.
If only we all knew.
That's a big fan of ad libs. Fun fact.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Our next email from Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Josh, words cannot express what this podcast gave to me these past few years. I will be forever grateful that you did not experience Harry Potter like the rest of us. This podcast that you convinced Matt to create, it was actually the opposite, but gave me a new
history. It's okay.
Gave me a new appreciation for the series. I think and talk about Harry Potter even more now and fully embrace what it is to love everything about it. This community is a family and one that you, Josh, will always be a part of. I'm anxious but excited for what's to come and really want you to come back at least once in a while. We will miss you immensely. Thanks for everything from all three of you. Griff out.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Ashley.
All right, my turn. I get to read a few.
Ooh.
All right, this one comes from Jenna.
Hi, Jenna.
Jenna says, hello, goodbye. I was struggling with the idea that we might not have a fantasy football league, since who knows if we're going to even have football now. But I have to think about the Muggle being gone. What a crazy world we live in. I just have to say that this is the podcast I look forward to the most. And I am so grateful for all the long commutes that I got through with Josh and Matt and the crazy theories and discussions that I talked through in my head with Joe, whom I usually agree with, and argue with Marissa, as I usually don't think from her perspective.
Wow.
Please, yeah.
Imagine that.
Please keep the Muggle out part of the closing so that we have a little JB fix. I don't know. Can you guys do the Muggle out without?
I don't think
I don't know. We had Matt on every single episode doing the intro and outro.
In all honesty, I was kind of surprised that you've kept that intro this long. I'm surprised you didn't change it over when I left.
What did I change it to? Everybody knows you. Everybody that's going back and listening to the old ones are like, it's Matt's voice.
I just want to, don't be upset if you hear a new intro and outro.
Hey.
Maybe.
Also, the Muggle out is trademarked, so you guys are legally not allowed to use it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
No, they can. You just get a quarter every time they do.
This is why we need more people on Patreon.
All right. Jennifer closes up here. She says, a special shout out to Brent, me, who I think is still in Tampa. I'm heading there for work in August. Very fun. I actually live in Jacksonville, not Tampa, but I will be in Tampa a lot from
He loves Tampa.
July through like January, hopefully into February this year. Woo! Anyway, we'll talk about that later. Best of luck to Josh and look forward to all the next adventures. Jenna, sent from my iPhone.
Also, fun fact, if there is a fantasy football league, I will be drafting Rob Gronkowski with my number 1 pick. Just throwing that out there.
Oh boy.
Because that guy's going to catch a lot of TDs.
I guess we know who's not winning that league.
There's only one ball, and there's a lot of people with good hands right now. Anyway, go ahead.
All right.
Joe? No, Marissa.
Yes, me. Next email is from Bobby.
Hi, Bobby.
Josh, thank you for the decision to share your Harry Potter journey with the world. Your quirrell at the end of Sorcerer's Stone made me laugh, and your reaction to Cedric broke my heart. You seem like such a fun and great person, and I wish you well during this crazy time. Peace and love, Bobby.
Same to you. Thank you.
The quirrell thing was pretty good.
That was a fantastic reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
That was the moment when I realized, okay, I have to brace myself for
anything
unexpected at this point.
Expect the unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. All right. Our next email from Sophie.
Hi, Sophie.
Hey, Sophie.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're all surviving quarantine well. Yeah, pretty good. Listening to the final chapters and wanted to share my thoughts on the wands. I always understood the connection to be more between the actual wands than the people, or at least that is how it makes it work. Draco's wand was the Hawthorne wand, disarms the Elder Wand, so the Elder Wand sees its new master as the Hawthorne wand, not necessarily Draco. When Harry disarms Draco, he becomes the new master of the Hawthorne wand, but then that wand is still the master of the Elder Wand. So when Voldy and Harry are dueling, the Elder Wand recognizes that its master is not necessarily Harry, but the Hawthorne wand that Harry happens to be holding in his hand. As for the moment in the forest, I don't think the wand allegiance changed because although Voldy killed Harry, the only one who sustained damage was Voldy, and therefore it made him unworthy of being the master of the Elder Wand, and allegiances did not change. Hope that was helpful, or not. All is good. Congratulations on finishing the books for a second time. It's a shame that Josh is leaving the podcast. He will be missed even with his controversial opinions. It's been a joy to hear him discover the Harry Potter world. I'm still not totally caught up. Just wanted to get this in. Can't wait to hear what you are doing next. Hope everyone stays safe and sane. Hugs from Spain. Sophie.
Thanks, Sophie.
Thank you, Sophie.
That's
One
a great
more
way
makes
to.
my head hurt.
It's a great way to end any email.
Hugs from Spain?
And the line before it. It
Yeah.
rhymed.
Stay safe and sane. Hugs from Spain.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That sounds like a JK line. It really does.
For sure.
All right, next email comes from Letitia.
Hi, Letitia.
And she says, I will miss Josh on the show. I love the interactions between him and all of the other hosts. It always amuses me to hear what he does and does not remember. My favorite Josh moment is the first time through the series when he found out that it was Quirrell back in book 1. He had to back away from the mic and yell, "It was Quirrell!" Best moment ever. Good luck with everything, Josh. P.S. I will still be listening to you on Castle Vault. I'm on episode 5.
Hey.
Fantastic show.
It is really good. I'm also following along. I just never remember to write an email. All right. Next email is from Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Josh is our favorite Muggle. Oh, it's a poem. Okay. Josh is our favorite Muggle whose leaving is making us struggle. His observations brought us joy as he shared views on the boy. Will Tails alone, Marissa and Joe juggle?
No.
Farewell and thank you for giving us years of pleasure, and your thoughts and observations made many of us renew our love of Harry Potter and discover things we never noticed before. True.
Well,
Thank you.
Next email from TC Ravenclaw, who we heard from earlier.
What's up?
Dear Muggle, thank you for 2 rounds of full story review and commentary. It was a lot of fun listening to you experience the stories for the first time and enjoying your love of creatures. Wishing you the best in the future. TC Ravenclaw.
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
Next email comes in from Mindy.
Hi, Mindy.
Hey.
Mindy says, sent from my iPad. First, what it says. First, let me say that this was the first podcast I have ever listened to. I started listening about a year and a half ago, and I'm currently all caught up.
Nice.
Does that mean you went all the way back to the beginning?
That's impressive. Yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah.
I'm still blown away by how many people have gone back and listened to the entire thing.
I want to know how many hours this show can sit, like at normal speed. How many hours has this show put out?
I think
Last time I think we had Alex calculate it, and it was something insane.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just always impressed that people get past the first few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, I'm going to stick this out for another 192.
It's fine.
See, you guys, I was there for the first episodes, and I don't remember it being bad.
Me
I would not have kept listening if it was that bad.
I have to ask you though, the content was good, so you stuck around.
Yes.
That it was content you were interested in, so you stuck around.
Right.
Have you gone back and listened to them since?
No.
I kind of wonder.
I've already heard them. No.
If you go back now and listen, if you'd be a little more critical of them.
I'm curious now.
Well, I mean, Matt, you and I have already had conversations about what that might look like, so I may be doing that anyway. So we'll see.
Yes.
Anyway, back to Josh. Josh, this has been quite a journey. Your Harry Potter knowledge over the past few years has been amazing. However, I'm sure there are a few things that you have forgotten along the way. I think my favorite moment. Huh?
Not possible.
No. He remembers every jot and tittle.
Mm-hmm.
Says, I think my favorite moment with you was how you were always saying that all little Tommy will need was for someone to give him a hug. You will be greatly missed.
Would have changed the whole story.
Lies.
Yeah. And if Petunia could have just gone and had class with, someone, they should have like a Muggle siblings class at Hogwarts. They're just saying. Anyway, you will
how to deal with your siblings being at Hogwarts while you cannot be.
I mean, they need it, right? Like the whole family. Like there should be like some sort of counseling or therapy or orientation for the Muggle family of their
exactly. Yes, there should be some counseling, but we've seen that time and again that the Wizards aren't concerned about that.
Yeah, some of them are. Arthur Weasley is. Josh, you will be greatly missed by all of us, but you have left the podcast in wonderful hands. I love Joe and Marissa, and I can't wait to see where things go from here. Please stay safe and take care of everyone. I wish you nothing but the best, Josh. We will all miss you.
Well, thank you.
Well said.
Would it be weird if I announced a new spin-off show that I was creating that I'm just going to review Tales from Godric's Hollow episodes.
Yes, please.
Like going forward or past ones? Are you going all the way back to episode 1 and catching up, Josh?
Yeah.
This is like people watching Twitch on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People watching themselves on Twitch.
And he will do a hierarchy and rank all of the episodes.
Yes, one at a time.
That's what we really need. The ranking of the episodes.
Yeah. Okay. Next email is from Marina.
Hello, Marina.
Dear Josh, Marissa, and Joe, it is a sad day, and I will 100% be crying 10 minutes into the episode. So I decided to go ahead and write this email right now and keep it as short as possible so the tears don't come too soon. Oh boy. It's all sad for everybody. Josh, thank you so very much for starting this podcast. Following you on your first ever read-through with Matt was a phenomenal journey. And the fact that you managed to keep the second read-through so fun and interesting with the help of Dean and the boss is incredible to me. Every Wednesday is like a little holiday to me thanks to you. Enjoy this extra time with your family, but please don't abandon us completely like the dear professor did.
Ow! Throwing shade, but the joke's on you. He's coming back.
Your sunglasses on, Matt.
Joe and Marissa, I'm beyond excited to hear what you're going to do with the show now. I'm sure it'll be amazing no matter what. Just going to throw it out there like I've done a few times before. Maybe once everyone's lives are back to normal, you could ask Josh to watch a Harry Potter musical and record a special episode or 3 with you. Well, we're going to watch those as just me and Joe, but maybe we will have Josh do that in the future. You never know.
Yeah, I could email in.
You could. You could also do that. Anyway.
I think Matt did once.
I tried. Sorry.
You guys hinted on a special guest, so if by any chance it's the professor, I'd like to say, Matt, we miss you and hope you're doing
back.
well. Sending all my love and appreciation for what you guys do. The nice Slytherin. Marina.
Aww.
There's a few of them out there.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
We got one right here.
I keep telling you, we're not all that bad, guys.
My fault JK wrote you guys like rubbish.
I should take that up with her. I really should.
I'll DM her.
Yeah.
She's been tweeting more. She's been tweeting more often. You might be able to
she's
catch
back on
Twitter.
Twitter right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're decided. JK is a Gryffindor, right?
She's a Hufflepuff.
A Hufflepuff, really?
I think so.
That's
another one for the good guys.
All right.
All right. Hold on. There are lots of people that probably forgot about the fact of that time when JK responded to my tweet.
Yes.
And my Twitter blew up and I had to like leave Twitter for a week.
We were like, don't look at the comments.
Middle of the night, I get a text from Matt. Do not look at your phone.
Give it to Val. Let her clear the notifications.
Like the fact that I hadn't heard from him yet, I'm like, okay, there's still a chance that he hasn't noticed what's going on or he's busy with something else or something. I'm like, please let him read this message first.
I remember that it was after he finished book 5 and he was upset about Sirius dying and he tweeted JK on a whim and is like, I just finished book 5. I don't know how to keep going. And she said, keep going. It gets better. And I was like, how does he get a response from JK, but I don't? I tweeted her 1,000 times. Nothing.
Yeah, that was a night.
Yeah, I do always wonder how, celebrities like that who must get tweeted at hundreds, if not thousands of times a day, like, how do you decide which ones you actually read and which ones you respond to? Like, there's no way you can respond to them all.
His was in, like, letter form, so maybe that caught her eye. It's like, Dear J.K. Rowling.
My dearest J.K.
I think he also sent the letter. He sent it out at, like, 2:00 in the morning. Which is like, she's having breakfast.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or
morning tea.
Having tea.
I actually had noticed that she was most likely to be on Twitter in the morning time for her. And I was up late that night and I just sent it on a whim and hope for the best. And she was like, you know what? We're friends now. I was like, you know what? I'm okay with that.
Besties.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Our next email from Marianne.
Hi, Marianne.
Hey.
She says, "Dear Josh, Joe, and Marissa." Sorry, Brent and Matt. "Strange to think that yet another chapter of the show is closing. Pun intended. Josh, wish you nothing but the best and hope you come back to guest star from time to time. My favorite prediction that Josh made was that Harry was a Horcrux. It was in the middle of a long rant, and as quickly as he made it, he moved on to another thought, but my jaw hit the floor. He had unintentionally guessed one of the biggest reveals of the books and didn't even realize it. I don't think he even remembered he had guessed it when we came to the end of the series the first time. Look forward to the next chapter of the show."
I remember that too. That was a pretty how?
I think I said it, and then I immediately regretted it because I'm like, there's no way a person could be a Horcrux. Of all the things you've said on the show, Josh, that might be too far.
Crazy.
Little did they know.
Crookshanks, though.
Next email comes in from Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Sarah says, "Hi, Josh, Marissa, and Joe.
Hey.
Thank you for so many hours of immersion into the world of Harry Potter. The first episode I ever listened to was The Lightning Struck Tower from the first read-through. I had just reread Prince, heard about the concept behind your show, and was curious how a first-time reader would respond to this unforgettable, game-changing chapter." For the record, that's the one where Dumbledore dies, right?
Kicks the bucket. Yep.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
20 years later.
For anyone who's just now catching the show. I was blown away by Josh's thoughtful, emotional response and Matt's probing, yet very measured questioning.
He's good at that.
I then went back and listened to every episode. I know you make fun of the early episodes as Dumbledore tells Fudge, "It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be."
Perfect.
I inhaled. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's a good pull right there.
There you go. I inhaled the books in mere hours after they were released, and I wish that I could go back and read them for the first time again. Muggle, thanks for letting us live vicariously through you. And to all the hosts, I know this podcast takes a tremendous amount of time and work, so thank you. Be well, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks.
I will say there are times when I absolutely just was so mad at Matt because I could tell he was pushing me in a direction that I didn't want to go, but he was keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, and I could never understand. I never figured out if it was to get me to say something or if he was actually trying to get me to predict something correctly, or if he was just leading me down a completely different path. I could never tell, and it drove me crazy.
Well, if anybody wants to hear more of that kind of stuff, go support us on Patreon, and listen to Joe do that to Adrian in our Alohomora Hogwarts episodes. Kind of the same thing.
Matt was much better than I am, though.
You're getting there.
Well, with you, Joe, you could tell that you're poking the bear, right? There's a tone in your voice where you're you feel the playfulness behind it. Matt is so just deadpan with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's personalities, though.
Oh yeah, but it works in completely different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Next email is from Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hello, Platinum Trio. First off, I want to say how much we will all miss you, Josh. I admire your devotion to your family, though, and hope you enjoy the increased time you will get to spend with them.
Oh, speaking of family.
Oh.
Hi, Val.
Hi, Val.
For those listening on the audio podcast, not watching the video feed, Val has just chimed in saying, "I love everyone writing into the show to show love to the Muggle." Thanks, Val.
The thing I will always remember about your first read-through is how convinced you were that Crookshanks was more than she appeared, and how you also predicted there was more to Mrs. Norris.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to write in last week, but my favorite book is Sorcerer's Stone. I've always loved the puzzles at the end to get to the stone, and the reveal that it was not Snape that was after Harry. Take care.
Thank you.
I have a question. Is Crookshanks a girl?
No. Well,
Okay.
actually,
No,
Is she?
no.
Crookshanks'
no.
boy.
Nope.
Okay.
So speaking of Crookshanks, this is something that somebody sent me several years ago, and I can't remember who it is right now off the top of my head, and I'm so sorry. And you should sign your artwork at all times. But this was
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So good.
So I have that sitting on my Harry Potter shelf, and so every time Crookshanks is mentioned,
Crookshanks is a male, by the way.
this
I just confirmed.
beautiful little cat.
You don't believe me?
Oh, I believe you. I just wanted to confirm.
Okay.
Always check your sources.
Professor, meet Marissa. Marissa, meet Professor.
Hello.
This dynamic is interesting
Good luck, Joe.
because they're both Raven. Oh no, what did I get myself into?
Flock.
A flock.
All right, our next email.
Pros here, okay? Just move on.
Wrong show, Josh. Wrong show. Don't cross the streams.
Next email from Appy.
Hi, Abby.
Hi, Tripodcasters. Brent and special guest Matt. Indeed.
Nailed it.
I'm going to miss starting my emails with Tripodcasters.
Oh.
I kept putting off this email because of that. Due to the time difference, it's really early for me here, but I'm going to see if I can get up for the live show. Thank you for doing that, by the way. Appreciate it. I'm really going to miss hearing from you on the podcast, Josh, but you'll come back for other shows and maybe in emails. You could compete with Alex for the last spot.
Ooh.
That could get interesting. I do have a request, though. We never got to hear Val do her character voices, and I would
Yes.
love to hear that. So pass on the request, please.
See what we can do.
Well, we can keep our fingers crossed, Appy. I don't know if it'll happen. All right. Here are some of my most memorable Josh moments from the podcast. Number 1, any mention of the giant squid.
Mhm.
Yes. Number 2, Quirrell. Yes, that seems to be a popular one. 3,
Mhm.
the Rita Skeeter defense the first time around. Number 4, predicting Snape's crush on Lily and that he is the Half-Blood Prince.
Easy.
5.
See, I remembered the Half-Blood Prince. I didn't remember his prediction about Lily, though.
It was real early.
Yeah.
Was it?
Mhm.
Yeah. I hated the Half-Blood Prince one. That one I got mad at. It's the only one I really got mad about was the Half-Blood Prince one. He's like, it was obvious. Who knew? It was obvious.
Exactly. That one bothered me because my first read through, I definitely did not get that. I did not pick up on that. And so the fact that he did, it's like, and made it feel like it was obvious. I'm like,
Like, of course.
I think that was the book, Matt, when you were really trying to swerve me. You're like, but what about this? And like you were going hard on trying to convince me Snape was not Half-Blood Prince. So I just doubled down. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Medelia Song just wrote in a comment that I was just about to say. I think your Lily prediction happened in book 3.
I did.
I think that's
And that's Mel B, by the way.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's Mel B.
she's incognito.
Yep.
Next time, just put Mel B. Mel B.
she signed the rest of her comments. Just
Yeah.
not that one.
Just not that one.
Oh, of course, the first one I see.
Mhm.
Anywho, number 5. This one happened recently, actually. Voldy killed Grindelwald.
I love it. What?
Number 6, the Dean Thomas bashing.
Oh,
You create that created my nickname.
Yeah, it did.
it did.
That- Number 7, the reactions to the professor who shall not be named.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, those were good.
I
Yeah.
did. I forgot about that too.
Matt, Marissa's favorite story is about the book, right, Marissa?
Yes. In book 7, when Hermione's going through all of her books before they leave, and it mentions travels with trolls. And he goes, I've never heard of this book. I would like to read this book. And you just go, oh, really? Well, you know who wrote that book?
Yep.
Crushing.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, I
Indeed.
just can't. So
Whenever I finish a beloved series, I either look for additional content or a reread. Now that a round of reading is over, I have started listening to the Tales from Godric's Hollow for the second time. At the end of the first book, Josh said it must be bittersweet to start the series again, knowing that it ends at the 7th book. It's how I feel about this episode. We are giving Josh a farewell, but I'm excited to see what Joe and Marissa are going to do. Maybe debate whether Lupin is a Legilimens? There is no debate about that. He definitely is. Who knows?
I'm on board with that, by the way.
Nice. I've convinced one Ravenclaw I can do some more. All right.
But is that because of his power as a wizard, or is that something like weird werewolfy power that he got?
It has nothing to do with
Discussion
werewolf.
for
Yeah.
Good.
Nothing to do with the werewolf.
Okay.
Who knows? But I'm eager to find out. All the best, Josh, and please keep in touch. Your fellow Dementors Club member.
Yes. Thanks, Happy. Once again.
thanks.
Next email comes from Dane.
What's up, Dane?
Dane says, "Howdy, y'all. This guy must be up from my neck of the woods. Might just read this whole email like this.
Do
No, I
it.
won't. No, I will not. Notes from last episode. This community is awesome. All these awesome emails to support our awesome hosts. How could I have forgotten about all the food talk? Can we convince the Muggle to come back for a cooking and baking butterbeer banter? I would like the Muggle's thoughts on the Wizarding World Cookbook." I just got that, by the way. I'm excited to dive into
It's
it.
fantastic.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Question: what are your favorite nicknames from the community? Josh.
Favorite nicknames?
Yeah, I think you get like the Sarah with an H and Katie with an A, and
Those, or do you mean like Platinum Trio?
Ours.
or Platinum. Oh yeah, it could be those too. Sure. Count them all. Count them all.
Man, I like all the nicknames because it shows how creative everybody is in really fun ways. And at some points, it feels like somebody is always trying to outdo the last person that did a nickname.
Yeah.
and
It was like it was the Platinum Trio, then it was the Diamond Trio, and then it was the Platinum Diamond Triforce. Like it just kept growing and growing.
Triforce was good.
Yeah, all of them. I love just feeling like everybody is friendly and just like an extended family, to where nicknames are just run of the mill, and everybody has them, and it's fantastic.
There you go. Dane continues, what else are you doing during this wild time if not listening to podcasts about the best book series of all time? Where is the Kids Corner?
Miss Kids Corner.
Look at me, I'm done.
Are you Dane's throwing his hat in the ring here, guys. Are you guys taking podcast host volunteers, or is the headmistress merging to create a Tales Weekly podcast mega team?
Right now, we're staying the dynamic duo.
Uh-huh.
But if you are interested in joining us for a hosting deal on the podcast, you might want to check out some updated Patreon tiers that will be coming up next week.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Wait, if you guys are the dynamic duo, does that make Matt Alfred?
Yes.
Can we start calling him Alfred?
He's more like a Riddler.
All right. Thoughts on this week. I first started listening during the summer of 2018. I finally caught up and started emailing during the second reread of Prisoner of Azkaban. I remember listening to those wonderful 4-hour-long podcasts at 2x speed, trying to catch up. Surprisingly, the Muggle spoke slow enough and enunciated enough that it was still understandable.
Mhm.
Yep.
True.
That is one thing I've realized about our show. We all talk so slow.
We'll work on
That's
that.
good.
Y'all helped me convince me to get my wife to reread. She's currently on book 4, so thanks
All
for
right.
that.
You're welcome.
It has been an amazing experience to listen to other people interact with this great series. My family is pretty big on Harry Potter merch, but not big on discussions. So I'm grateful that I get this every single week. I've said it before, but thank you all so much for being so vulnerable. I know there is some bit of being on while recording, but I appreciate your willingness to show emotion and care for the community. Also, I enjoy that you have arguments like all of us have had about the series. If y'all didn't really care for each other, it wouldn't be nearly as enjoyable to listen to. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. And did I mention thank you? Because without the Muggle, there is no Tales. So thank you for giving in to peer pressure, Josh, and reading the series on air as building this great community. Good luck and Godspeed wherever life takes you from here. Wish you the best. Don't be a stranger. Make good choices. Dane.
Thanks, Dane.
Thanks, Dane.
I struggled with peer pressure.
Little does he know he's just been under the Imperial curse the entire time.
Wow.
Wouldn't surprise me.
The Imperial.
Next email is from Laurel,
Hello, Laurel.
who I believe also was met at LeakyCon.
Sounds
Yes?
right.
Indeed. She was.
I'm sorry. Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
Before you get into that, just speaking of the Imperial curse. So my kids, my oldest has started reading Harry Potter, and we are in the middle of book 6 right now. And like, we have all of our merchandise perch. We have like our Harry Potter wands we've got from the parks and everything like that. He will run around. He'll go grab one of the wands and he'll point it at his little sister, his 4-year-old sister, who doesn't know Harry Potter at all. Right. And he'll just go, Imperio, run into the couch. And she will stop whatever she's doing. Like somebody just said the floor is lava, and go do whatever he told her to do and run into the couch, or go, Imperio, go jump in the pool. She will jump into the pool full clothes.
That could be problematic.
It is not okay.
Also,
You
you said, middle of book 6?
Yeah. Middle of book, Silver and Opals is what he read tonight.
First read through?
Yes.
So remember earlier when you were joking about Dumbledore dying, about it being a spoiler? Like, it's still literally a spoiler for people.
Yeah, but people listening to this particular episode of this show,
you never know,
Should
man.
not.
It's true.
You never know.
It's true. Sorry, go back to the email.
It's okay.
I want to tell you all that.
Dear Josh, congratulations and thank you for this magical journey. By some twist... What?
Who is this again?
Laurel.
Laurel, that's right. Okay.
By some twist of fate, I found Tales from Godric's Hollow the first week it premiered and have been with you ever since. Wow.
SEO.
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea how people found us right away, because we didn't do anything to advertise it. We just kind of like, hey, we're doing podcasts. We'll put some episodes out there and then worry about that later. But yeah, I know we had listeners right away and emails within the first couple of weeks. So yeah,
the power of Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm. There have been so many wonderful Josh moments, from the crazy cat lady to the Crookshanks theory to loving the giant squid to JK herself tweeting back to you. It's been a wild broomstick ride. I haven't written in since LeakyCon, but I had my baby Theo on what I'm pretty sure is your birthday, November 23rd.
That's my birthday.
Nice.
Congratulations. What a great day to have a baby.
Awesome.
Maybe he will be a Hufflepuff too? I'm a Slytherin. His dad is a Gryffindor, so we shall see.
Oh, won't be a Ravenclaw.
Hey. Rude. Anyway, I will miss you, Muggle. All was well. Thanks, Laurel.
All right, next email from Kevin.
Hey.
What's up, Kevin?
A special congratulations to Josh on an amazing run on the show and the amazing journey he undertook over the years. Also, a thank you, Josh, for all the great entertainment you have provided and for being a good friend when I absolutely needed a good friend. While this pandemic has altered any real plan to travel this year out to your neck of the woods, where I seem to have so many old friends living nowadays, I fully plan to head out there in 2021 at some point and look forward to grabbing lunch with you one day. Thanks again, my good man, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, my door is always open. Anybody that's ever in this area, like, let me know. I will gladly hang out.
I could have used one joke, Kev. Just one.
For anybody who's unsure about that, that's the Portland, Vancouver area.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Matt, when are you coming back here?
As soon as I can.
I like it.
Next email is from, I'm going to say this right.
Paola.
Paola.
There we go. Paola says, hello. So I'm 2 episodes behind, so I need to listen and give thoughts on those last few chapters of Deathly Hallows. But I had to write in for Josh's last episode. Well, last episode for now, since I'm pretty sure he'll be around either for podcast episodes once in a while, or at least the occasional email. At least I hope so.
Mhm.
Anyway, I just wanted to say it's been a fun journey. Fun to watch as he discovered the series for the first time. Fun watching him go through it for his reread. Honestly, the reread in some ways had to be more fun because the first read through, I needed him to get to the good parts. Anyway, it's always been a great ride, and I'm glad to have had the chance to do it twice. Also, thank you for validating my soft spot for Petunia. Sometimes I think I'm crazy, but Josh is living proof that I'm not.
True.
Anyway, thank you. I'm glad to have known you virtually, Paola.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Next email is from Beth.
Hi, Beth.
Oh, Muggle, we are going to miss you. Listening to your first and second read through of these books was the best. You had great thoughts, ideas, predictions, random obsessions, and it was fun to go through with you. It's good to know that you won't be far away and may come back when the world settles back down. We know you'll be back for butterbeer banters about the coming movies, and I can't wait. I hope this podcast was as magical for you as it was for all of us. It definitely seemed that it was. I mean, come on, you even named your dog after Dobby.
Truth.
Thank you for all that you've done for us, and that goes for Matt, Marissa, and Joe as well. I hope the show will go on for a long time to come. You are all the best, including the community. All true.
Indeed.
Thanks, Beth.
All right. Our next email from Hannah.
Hello, Hannah.
Dear Josh and everyone else. Hi to you too. Here's to you, the bravest Hufflepuff, who ventured into this crazy fandom, who took a crazy ride, who found friends and laughter, who found grief and tears, and who dared to share it all with everyone. Thank you for the laughter. Thank you for the journey you brought us all on and allowed us to share with you. Thank you for your authenticity, for your hours and hours of time, and for your genuine care for those in this community you helped to create. You got me through some of my darkest days, struggling through a concussion, constantly dizzy and depressed. Your reaction to Quirrell made me laugh out loud, and your first prediction about Snape and Lily made me audibly gasp. I'm sure lots of other people want to get emails in too, so I'll keep mine short for once. Thank you. I'm so grateful for your friendship and for the friendships this community has given me, and that is thanks in large part to you.
No, thank you.
That's it from Hannah.
2 things. Just to piggyback off that email. The Quirrell thing has been brought up like a ton already.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a decade ago. Like it's so far back. I don't even remember it being that big of a deal because
Dude, you flipped.
It's been so long. Secondly, I am definitely not the bravest Hufflepuff. My boy Cedric Diggory, R.I.P.
Oh.
Okay, that's it.
All right, next email is from Denise.
Hi, Denise.
Oh, Josh, it's been so great listening to you for the past few years. I miss your theories, your random tangents, and the love of animals, magical and non. Thank you for finding Joe and Marissa to co-host with you and carry on the show after you leave. You will be sorely missed, but you've left Tales in good hands. Denise, sent for my iPhone.
I didn't find them. They found me. I mean, Marissa, we couldn't get rid of her. She just stuck around, and we wouldn't want to get rid of her. I'm just saying.
Okay.
She finally bribed us enough, and
yeah,
she literally gave us money month after month after month. I mean, what do you call that?
Friendship.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Marissa was with us for so long, behind the scenes. I mean, her and Matt, would have whole email conversations that I wasn't aware of because I wasn't allowed to see emails. So that was fun. But does like anybody know how Joe and I started talking? Like other than him emailing the show?
Probably
Do you remember
wrestling.
this, Joe?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to say it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was I saw a picture of you at a WWE show. And at that point I had been listening for a couple of weeks and I'm like, man, I think just like this guy. I feel like I'm listening to myself on a podcast because we had so many similar takes. And I was still finding the series as well because I was still young in the Harry Potter fandom. So once I saw that he was into wrestling too, I'm like, I got to reach out to this guy now. So I finally sent him a message. And I'm like, hey, I'm a part of the community and I listen and I'm not only a big wrestling fan, but I am a wrestler. And we just had this whole conversation in the Twitter inbox. It all goes down in the inbox.
It goes down in the DMs. Yeah.
Slide into the DMs.
Yeah. I thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, oh my God, a wrestler is talking to me on Twitter. So cool. I was like, I know he's not like a big time wrestler, but he knows big time wrestlers. I was like, this is the best day ever.
Best day ever.
It was so good.
So yeah, and then he was like, you should email in. I was like, yeah, I planned on it, but I'm going to really do it this time. And then eventually I did. And then I stuck.
Very cool.
And here both of you are now. And I couldn't
Look at that.
Yeah. Also, someone in the chat's pointing out that Cedric is second and Newt is the first. And yeah, totally.
Or Brave Hufflepuffs. Yeah.
Is Cedric that brave though? I mean, he had no choice to go to that graveyard. And then he didn't even flinch. He had no chance. if he flinched, he would have the spell would have maybe missed him.
But no, I mean, you
can get some emails with that one.
You could look at the challenges before the graveyard, and then like he wouldn't have made it through if he wasn't.
Right.
That's fair.
Okay, I'm not saying he's not brave. I'm just saying he's not the second bravest. Let's rank Hufflepuffs.
Don't let this become another Lupin and Tonks relationship issue. So let's move on to another email, shall we?
I'm just saying Ernie Mac has got to be up there.
You're up, boss.
At least number 3.
Next email from Ovander, who we haven't heard from in I don't know how long.
It's been a while. Too long.
What is up, my dudes? First off, sorry that I've been away for so long in the email segment. You still are and will always be my dudes, though. Life is full of twists and turns, and as such, keeping up with the podcast weekly just wasn't in the cards, though I do intend to catch up in the coming months. I hope everyone is staying safe during these tough times. Now on to why I snuck this email in. When I saw on Twitter that Josh was leaving the show, needless to say, I was surprised. But as I said before, situations change and we all have our own path to follow. I want to say thank you, Josh, for embarking on this journey those years ago and providing so many hours of entertainment and for cultivating such an awesome community of friends. I've always been a Harry Potter fan since reading the books on release, but after the movies finished coming out, I didn't pay as much attention to the franchise again. That is until I found Tales from Godric's Hollow. And since then, I reread the books countless times through audiobooks, relived the first time through Josh's experience, and got to visit the Wizarding World in Florida. I'm a bigger Potterhead than ever before. The chemistry between the hosts, past and present, and all the people I met through emails are what made this podcast more than just a podcast and are the reasons this show will continue to be amazing for however long it goes for. But it all started with you, Josh, and we can't thank you enough for the time and the love you've put into this podcast, the events, the giveaways, and especially this community. There's nothing else like it. Wishing you the best of luck with whatever life has in store for you, buddy. Lastly, I'll finish with a quote from the best character. What's coming will come, and we'll meet it when it does. Hagrid. And we will meet it together because that's what we've all been united in this Tales from Godric's Hollow family. Until next time, Voldy for Valor, Ovander. Thanks, Evander.
Thanks, Evander.
Thanks.
Are you
Al.
crying yet, Josh?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there.
He's doing good. I told you it'd be easier than you thought.
We're not done yet.
We're not halfway through the emails yet.
Nope. There's time.
Yeah, we are. Maybe just at it. No.
We're a little over halfway.
Next one from Yana.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, Josh and Marissa and Joe. Here we are again, the end of another era. So many memories in almost 200 episodes. It's hard to pick just one favorite. So I'll give you my top 3. Number 3, the invention of McCormack Johnson.
Yes.
What's the official spelling on that anyway? I think what you have is how. Actually, you know what? I put McCormick, ICK, but whatever. Leave it up to your imagination. It's not correct anyway.
M-A-C capital C-O-R-M-A-C-K.
Okay.
That's how she has it.
Perfect.
Okay. Number 2, Schmear, the Goblin. Not sure what the official spelling is on this either, but the online dictionary gave me this definition in addition to the stuff that you put on a bagel. A corrupt or underhanded inducement, a bribe. Interesting choice for someone who works in a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Could be an
Matt
underhanded
missed that whole thing.
Apparently, yeah.
He did, yeah. And number 1, I consider this the greatest gift of all. Trelawney and Xenophilius sitting in a tree. You know they would literally be sitting in a tree.
For sure.
Matt, say your new catchphrase. Matt, say it. Say it, Matt.
We shipped it, Matt.
Yeah.
Trelawney and Xenophilius.
Matt ships it.
Hold your ground, Matt. Hold your ground. Stand strong, brother.
A couple people have pointed that out. I didn't realize how much that would take when we did that.
So good.
Yeah. Anyhow, so long, Muggle. Thank you for inviting me to travel next to you on this journey. Don't let the rainbow parachutes get you down.
No.
Yana.
Wow.
I appreciate that multiple audiences now understand rainbow parachutes.
Yes. Very good.
Hasn't gotten better. Just saying.
Next email comes in from Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea.
She says, "Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. Josh, while saddened to hear that you are leaving, I wish you and your family nothing but the best. You are the reason that this all exists and the reason this awesome community has formed and come together. I started listening to the show when we were commuting to college for my master's. Years later, while the commute to my job is less, I still look forward to listening to your hot takes during my drive. I will miss all of your witty comments, predictions, but all good things must come to an end. I look forward to where the show goes next, but it will definitely not be the same without you. I hope you make plenty of visits and we hear your voice again soon. P.S. Does this mean that you are no longer a Muggle and are now a wizard? You've definitely earned it. All the best, Chelsea."
I think wizards have to have like a certain amount of
Memory?
about the magic that they may or may not possess, and I got a ways to go.
Fair enough.
Can we call you a squib at least?
It feels very derogatory. And,
And Muggle doesn't.
We can call you whatever you want to be called, Josh.
Muggle's fine. Why change a good thing?
You know, Josh, I was a big proponent of, after the first read through, of you dropping the Muggle moniker.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad you didn't listen to anyone who told you to do that, and you've kept it. And for whatever it's worth, I think you should just keep it for, you're just the Muggle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just are.
Yeah.
Always the Muggle.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, no.
Always.
I'm not getting
Always.
Move on.
Always.
Next email from Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
I am still in the 50s as far as episodes go, but I wanted to thank the Muggle for letting us share this journey with him. I got to relive the first time reading by looking through his eyes. Also, I appreciate the sacrifices he made. First, the time sacrifices that you all make to entertain us with the podcast, the reading time, and the editing and all of that. Also, the sacrifice of waiting. I would say a vast majority who read the books for the first time don't do it in 2 to 3 chapters at a time with a week in between. Thank you for sticking to that, because I would imagine it was super difficult. I mean, I'm binging the show, so the most I have to wait in between readings is the length of a podcast. So thank you for the ride. I'll continue to listen, though, and remind myself that anything I write in is about 3 years past and gone. Thanks, Carrie.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, can we talk about all the stupid cliffhangers Matt left me on?
Sure.
God, that was probably the second most annoying thing that he did. Just cliffhanger after cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It was fun for the rest of us, though, Josh.
And then somehow he managed to make the camping section like 8 weeks, and I don't even know how that's possible. It was like a 2-month adventure into camping.
It was a long camping adventure, yes.
Yeah, we flew through it this time.
I believe you.
It was much shorter camping this time around.
Yes.
1 episode. We're done.
All right. Our next email from Taryn.
Hi, Taryn.
Hey, Taryn.
Dear Muggle, and everyone else, but mostly the Muggle.
Oh.
Tell me how you really feel. It's been approximately 15 and a half years since I last emailed in. So I figured it was about time. I can't believe this is it. It's the end of an era, for sure. You and Matt started this thing almost 4 years ago, and I found you guys just a little bit later. Since then, you've welcomed me and many others into the folds of your little community, and it's been a blast. More than a blast. You guys, and now Marissa, Joe, and Brent, are a treasure. And the impact you've made is incredible. You've not only solidified my love of Harry Potter, not that there was ever really any doubt, but you've made it into something greater. You've created a hodgepodge family made up of people from all over the world, literally. It has to be said, of course, that getting to finally meet you guys was awesome. LeakyCon was such an interesting experience. It was like meeting celebrities and friends at the same time. And I'm so thankful the friendships have continued. I can't wait until the world is back to something resembling normal, and we can plan stuff like that again. Having our family is truly great, but there's a lot to be said for sharing the fanaticism with other people who feel the same way. It can be challenging to be around people in everyday life who don't always get it, which is another reason why what you started is so important. You've given us a safe place to grow, share, learn, laugh, cry a few times, in my case, and just totally geek out with no judgment whatsoever. Instead, we've been embraced for it, and that means more than I can explain. I'm currently listening to the very first real episode. The nostalgia is borderline overwhelming, where you describe your venture as a Harry Potter book club in audio form for your ear holes as a podcast. It's definitely that, but it's also become so much more.
That seems like a Josh way to describe it.
Karen.
Yep. For your ear holes.
As a podcast.
As a podcast. Not to be confused.
If anyone ever thought we scripted anything, I think there's your proof.
I killed it.
Yeah, nothing. Thank you, Taryn.
Thank you, Taryn.
All right, next email comes in from Mel B.
Hey.
LB.
Mel B says, hey, team. I still could not find the right words to say in this email, but it felt wrong to me to not write in. It has been quite a journey. I remember joining you during your first read-through during Prisoner of Azkaban. It was so much fun to travel with you on this journey and to hear your theories and follow you along as you got to experience the love and joy in Harry Potter. On the podcast, I have laughed and cried with you. And in real life, we have laughed when we met in Boston. I'm so glad that I got to come to the States and meet you and Val. It was such a great time. I can't wait to see what future projects will take you on when the world is a little less crazy. Remember that the tough times won't last, and the podcast is being left in good hands. I look forward to hearing your voice again when time allows. Take care, Josh. Heart emoji, sad face. Marissa and Joe, I know that you two are going to do a great job taking care of the podcast forward. You will always have my love and support. Mel B.
Love you, Mel B.
The podcast is in good hands like a potato in Marissa's.
Dang.
That's painting worthy.
Dang.
Hashtag throwback.
Matt looks so confused or just
That
disgusted.
needs to be I always thought that should be like on like a new coffee mug, like just the potato drawing.
You'll have to enlighten me later.
You really don't remember? Okay. We will. We'll take care of it. It'll be fine. All right. Next email from Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Dear Tales crew, as always, notes from last week. Totally forgot to mention my new headcanon, which is unsurprisingly the same as most everyone's from last week. Lupin is absolutely Legilimens, and so is Aberforth.
Let's go.
Truth.
Notes from this week. I started off listening to the show right before I moved to the Gambia during a summer where I lived alone and loved having a podcast to keep me company. So much so that as soon as I finished listening the first time, I re-listened immediately. Matt and Josh provided me a lot of comfort during my move and the following year of training, language and cultural classes, the Peace Corps health work. I was sad to hear about Matt leaving, but we gained two incredible co-hosts who carried on this book club with Josh. I didn't have to worry about losing my comfort podcast. Plus, I had an excellent excuse to reread the series for the 100th time. You guys became slightly famous with my coworkers, who even now ask me if I'm still listening to the hours-long Harry Potter podcast.
Wait, an hour-long Harry Potter podcast?
Hours long.
Oh, I was going to say.
When did we ever put out an hour-long show?
The very first episode.
Right.
Oh, goodness.
I even convinced a few of them to read the series for the first time. You've become a regular mention with my family, whether it was discussing the latest Muggle theories or commenting on the newest breadcrumb. Almost 4 years have passed since my sister first convinced me to listen to Tales from Godric's Hollow, and I'm still an avid listener of the only Harry Potter podcast. And that's all due to you, Josh, who stuck through the series despite JK's math errors, Joe mentioning Percy whenever possible, Marissa correcting you when necessary, and
wait, one second. Just shout out Chris. I know you're watching out there. Appreciate you. Love you, man. Word.
The professor who shall not be named, Alex's weather updates, Dumbridge, Crookshank theories, and camping. Thanks for giving us listeners another chance to rediscover our love for the series. I'm gonna miss you, Muggle, but catch you on the flip-bendo side. Griff out. Thanks, Caitlin.
Thank you.
I see what you did there, too.
Our next email from Scott.
What's up, Scott?
I think my favorite moment, I think it sticks out because it was right when I started listening, is at the very beginning of the first book when McGonagall changed into a cat, and Josh was super confused as to where this cat came from and why Dumbledore was talking to it.
Yeah.
Really, did not make that very clear. I still stand by that.
Really, there are a ton of great moments. Josh, you've been a fantastic host. And it's a good thing, too, because this show is the only Harry Potter podcast.
Truth.
And it still is.
Truth.
Mm-hmm.
Next email comes from Jake.
What's up, Jake?
Jake
Snape. Jake Snape.
There you go. Jake says, "Hey, Tales crew. As the pages close on Josh's chapter of the podcast, I'd just like to say thank you for all the time and work you have put into the show. I first started listening in late 2017, and for whatever reason, I only got to somewhere around the middle of Chamber of Secrets. I think I stopped listening to podcasts altogether for a good while at that point. I always knew I'd return to finish the read-through and catch up since November of last year. Tales has been the only podcast I've listened to as I've been trying to catch up while simultaneously listening to the latest episodes. I'm currently approaching the midpoint of the reread with Prisoner of Azkaban, and I'm really enjoying it. My favorite thing is Josh's proclamation that a set of chapters were boring for him, then to have him gush lovingly about them.
That sounds
Hello when
about
that
right.
happens.
I just want to point out that I stood my ground on the worst chapter of the series.
I believe it.
But you were wrong.
Prime Minister chapter.
Still wrong.
Still
The
worst.
what?
The Prime Minister chapter.
Yeah, the other minister.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Still the worst chapter. It did not get better. It got worse the second time.
I think what would be an interesting experiment if you have the time, if someone's actually re-listening to episodes. I know the episodes wouldn't line up exactly, but if you would listen to like book 1, chapters 1 and 2 the first time through, followed immediately by the second time through in podcast form, and just see how much your reactions change between readings.
Some are wildly different.
It's a good science experiment.
Alex, get on.
Alex, you're up.
Yes, Alex.
He has plenty of time on his hands.
Right.
Jake continues, says, Josh, it's been a wild ride with plenty of ups and downs, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm sorry to see you go and wish you nothing but the best. Good luck and take care. And to Marissa and Joe, I look forward to whatever's next. You two have been fantastic on the show, and Josh leaving the show is leaving the show in excellent hands. Gryffindor out, Jake Snape.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
Thanks.
Next
Can
email
I
is
just tell
from
you, I never knew that's what he was saying.
what?
Jake Snape. I was always saying Jake Snake.
Oh, no, Snape. That's his last name.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Like for real?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a wrestling thing, like for Joe, and I never paid
Jake
that
plus
much
Snake.
attention to it. I've just now saw it in writing for the very first time. So
He sent an email in about it too. Once you
talked
eventually
about
get
his
up to
last
that
name.
episode. Yeah.
oh yeah, I must have missed that one. Yeah.
All right. Next email is from Jess.
Hi, Jess.
Jekka Dev.
Yes, on social media, apparently.
A winner from the earlier in the
Yeah.
evening, right? Okay.
Correct.
I was like, why is Joe just randomly throw?
Joe follows every Tales from Hogwarts Hollow listener.
Wouldn't
Ever.
put it past him.
Hi,
I
Josh.
appreciate you.
Hi, Josh, Marissa, and Joe. I don't write often, but I just wanted to bid farewell to Josh. I will miss the Muggle theories and funny forgetfulness of plot points despite having already read through the books. My favorite Josh moment was his Muggle theory that Mrs. Fig would make some sort of return, and it was just so shocking that he guessed it. I also thoroughly enjoyed his continued mention of Crookshanks being more than a cat, even when it became clear that this probably wasn't the case. I'll miss listening to you every week, Josh. Might have to start listening to your other podcasting endeavors. Hope you're all staying well during these crazy times. Jess.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess.
Next email from Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Dear Josh, Marissa, and Joe. It's been quite some time since I've written in, but I could not let tonight slip by without saying something. Josh, thank you for spending countless hours of your time sharing your journey through the wizarding world with this community. Every week, this podcast has given me a reason to dive into the world and share the experience with such an amazing community. Thank you for bringing this community together, with the other hosts as well, of course. Your journey through this world has definitely been unique, and I have enjoyed traveling it with you for the last 4 years. Although I am excited for the future of Tales, my favorite podcast, you will definitely be missed. Please know that we in the community support your decision and your time with your family. Thank you always for everything, Lauren.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Next email comes in from Rachel.
There you go.
Hey.
Rachel says, I won't leave a long, drawn-out email, but I will say this, though. I've been a listener since day one. I've always appreciated you and your genuine and honest nature. I never wrote in frequently, but I always appreciated when you read what emails I did send in. This podcast was actually the first thing that I've ever won anything on, and I've won both a book and a Hedwig plush animal. I also love that you are the only one who ever agreed with me about Rita Skeeter. Not a particularly sappy email, but I don't want to put too much sadness in it. Basically, thank you for being you because you're amazing, and I'll miss hearing your voice. All great things must come to an end. Be well, Rachel.
Thank you.
Next email is from Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
Dear Tri-Podcasters, I enjoyed the Muggles' long sojourn as host of Tales from Godric's Hollow and have some great memories of his wild and sometimes amazingly accurate Muggle theories, his genuine emotional responses to some of the character deaths, his love of all magical creatures, which has enhanced my own appreciation of them. I'll certainly never again be able to read a mention of the giant squid without thinking of him. Josh, I will miss you and wish you the best. Joe and Marissa, I look forward to hearing what lies ahead for the podcast. Ravenclaw out, Deborah. Thanks, Deborah.
If we don't get the giant squid in a Fantastic Beasts movie, I'm going to lose my mind. That's all I want.
Let JK know. Your best friend.
I don't know how much control she has over the movies.
Well,
She's writing them.
how much would it be to like have a tentacle waving out of the lake?
I don't even need a full squid. I don't need an eyeball. I don't need a mouth. I just need one little tentacle just waving at somebody. That's it. Just Newt, take it off, squid waving at him. That's it. Done. My journey's complete.
That's when you become a wizard officially.
So I'm never going to get it, is what you're saying.
We'll see. You can always hope. Our next email from Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hey.
Hi, team. I had hoped to email during the last book, but as an essential worker, life has been crazy.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks, Kim, for everything. I'm an ICU nurse, and we have been bracing for it, been training, been preparing, creating ICU spaces, gathering supplies, and waiting. I'm thankful our country locked down when we had 100 cases. It has not come in the way it was predicted. We still have a long way to go as now we head into the winter, but I'm so grateful I have a prime minister whose mantra has been, stay home and be kind. Takes advice from our Ministry of Health and has shown compassion and understanding.
You're so lucky.
Josh, never has it been so important to take care of your family and those close to you. Here we call it your bubble. Those close members you live with. Never apologize for taking care of your bubble. Joe and Marissa, I'm so pleased to hear that you'll carry on. After working long hours and dealing with a new normal, which has never felt so abnormal, it's great to tune into you for a laugh. Now, it's all about Josh, and I know he likes a list. My gobsmack moment. When you declared Snape loved Lily. I was working in my garden outside and stopped 1 foot in the air, absolutely dumbstruck. If anyone had seen me at the time, they would have thought I had gone mad. I couldn't breathe or move, listening through the longest pause from Matt, waiting. Never has a podcast literally stopped me in my tracks. I don't know if you use that phrase in the USA. We do.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
But thank you for checking because we've had a few of those phrases over the years.
Yeah, where we're like,
Sounds right.
Write it again and tell us what you meant.
What does that mean? Yes. Your worst theory. Rita is a worthy journalist. Enough said. My one disappointment from reread. Snape. He's my favorite, and I thought you may have a change of heart about him. But it wouldn't be the community is if we all agreed all the same. Truth.
True.
The theory I most agreed with. Petunia.
Yes.
The two biggest ones.
God.
The one,
Wow.
the worst one, and the one she agrees with the most.
50-50. All right.
I read these books many times over, never read any fanfic, and never really engaged in any forums. I have always read those last passages with the same feeling as you. She had something more to say. I was quite surprised when the community didn't agree. She had more to say, but it wasn't, I love you. I love you.
It was, I love you and I'm sorry.
So, Josh, farewell. Thank you for not being afraid to express your emotion. Allow us to laugh with you and at times at you. It has been a unique experience you have given us and a wonderful community you and Matt built. To Joe and Marissa, excuse me. Life may not allow me to write in often, but I'm listening always. Kiwi out.
Aw,
Thanks, Kim.
thank you.
For the record, while I do not believe at all that Petunia was going to say "I love you," I do agree with Josh that there is some love there between Petunia and for Harry. At least some bit of affection in some part that she has smashed to smithereens, or at least she has with her husband. So I'm on your side with that, Josh, and I'm 100% against you about Rita. So
That's okay.
I think it's similar. I think Petunia is similar to Snape in that instance, where he doesn't really care for the boy, but is willing to do it for the grand scheme.
Right. I won't get into all that. I wasn't part of that conversation. But all right, next email comes in from Hunter.
Hi, Hunter.
Hunter says, I just wanted to hear other people talk about Harry Potter. As much as I love these stories, I can only talk so much about it with the people around me. I'm a big fan of this universe. I began my journey with Goblet of Fire came out. I was 8 years old and I was immediately hooked. I bought the last 3 books on their release days. I saw the movies on opening night. I went to the Wizarding World for my honeymoon. I've owned all the video games, Harry Potter themed birthdays and parties, dressed up for Halloween a few times. Yeah, like I said, I'm a big fan. So I looked for Harry Potter podcast to share my love and hear others' passions for these stories. Good thing there's only one Harry Potter podcast out there, right? Episode 1, I was hooked. The chance to relive through Josh what it was like to read the series for the first time was such an amazing experience. It inspired me to get my mother, who is a teacher, to read it for the first time, and before schools were closed, she began the Sorcerer's Stone with her class. Josh, your willingness to take on this task of reading and broadcasting to a bunch of crazies was what made you and this podcast so endearing. Your predictions, both the accurate and the ludicrous, were the perfect amount of astonishing that we couldn't figure out if you had some predilection of the books or you were just a bit touched in the head.
Well,
It could be both, actually.
You
It
never
may
know.
not be mutually exclusive. You helped change some of the headcanon and began to pick up on some of the breadcrumbs that have been a staple of the show. You helped create controversy and led some of the greatest debates of our generation. Pancakes versus waffles, anyone? Your love and admiration for the good and your disdain for the bad and the story showed that you are a just and good person in the real world. Thank you for helping to create this community and for being a positive role model for the fandom. I know this decision wasn't an easy one, but it is a respectful one. Take care of your immediate family, but always know your Harry Potter family is behind you. And after all this time, you will always be the Muggle.
No. Thank you so much.
Okay, next email is from the current Dread Pirate Roberts, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hello, Muggle.
Matt.
Not that Matt.
I'm aware.
Despite your dislike for the Princess Bride, I'm pretty sure I'll still miss you. I've loved following you on this journey, but as I've said in the past, family comes first. With this being one of my axioms in life, I couldn't do anything but respect your decision and reason to walk away. So, with you leaving us, I only have a few parting questions. Can you name the 7 Harry Potter books in order?
Ooh.
Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows.
Whoa!
Yay!
Woohoo!
If nothing else, that is a miracle.
I don't think he could have done that after the first read through.
No,
It's only because we ranked them last week. It's fresh.
Fair enough.
he's heard the names over and over again.
He has them stacked right next to him, right to his right.
Dang it!
back there.
What type of snake was released by Harry Potter from the zoo in the book?
boa? Was it a boa? Python? Rattlesnake?
Rattlesnake.
Was it a python?
It was a Brazilian python.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Apparently they're different because he also asked in the movie. So is it different?
In the movie, it's definitely a boa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Big old one.
Can you name one of the members of Dudley's gang?
Josh. Hey, Josh. Dudley is part of his own gang.
It's like the I have 2 coins that add up to 15 cents and one of them is not a nickel.
No. Not even close. Come on. I can barely remember some of the main characters.
I believe Pierce was part of his gang.
Sounds right.
His best friend. Can you name 3 of the code names used on Potter Watch?
Ooh. You've been through that more recently than I have, but that's a good question.
Okay. No. I can't.
Well, River,
Royal.
Romulus, and Royal. There's also
Rapier.
or Rodent.
Yeah, no.
No, nothing.
No.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you who they were talking about. Much less the code name.
Last question. Name 2 books by Lockhart.
Something with trolls.
I was gonna say we mentioned one of them already.
Traveling with trolls?
Close.
Okay. Travels with trolls?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
And something about he had a book about the Pixies, right?
No.
No?
He had a book about everything. What about his autobiography?
Something obnoxious.
Exactly.
Naming it,
Yes.
and I'm refusing to say it, so that's all I got.
Magical Me.
Magical Me. Okay. Yeah. I got one.
You did it.
Yeah.
The one we mentioned earlier this episode.
Right.
Remembered it.
Basically, all you have to do is pick a beast and make it alliterative.
Nuzzling Nifflers.
That would have been good, but no.
That would have been a good one. Yeah.
Getting released next year.
I was gonna say it wasn't one that was mentioned in the books, but I'm sure he could have written it.
Could have happened.
Well, could have put his name on it.
You will always be my favorite Muggle whose memory has been modified beyond repair.
It's true.
If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. P.S. My predecessor was right about masks. That's it.
Okay.
I
feel like I'm missing something.
I mean, yeah, same.
I think I am too.
Okay.
Anywho, our next email from Kelly.
Hello, Kelly.
Greetings from Texas. I've wanted to write in an email for years now, but never committed the time to actually doing so. I was introduced to Tales from Godric's Hollow by the one and only Atari Alex when we worked together.
Nice.
Little did he know he was throwing me a lifeline that I desperately needed. You see, my father died in July of 2016 after fighting colon cancer. I'm very much a focus on the task ahead type of person. So I immediately pushed all emotion aside and focused on funeral plans, caring for my mom, and making sure I stayed busy with work. Not the best course of action, but everyone has to process the loss of a parent in their own way. It was during this time that I needed an escape and decided to give reading Harry Potter a fair shot. I'd seen a few of the movies and attempted to read Sorcerer's Stone years before, but I quickly lost interest. When I told Alex, he told me about y'all's podcast, and having recently become obsessed with podcasts, I was convinced joining the Muggle in a read-along was the perfect way for me to consume the series. I was about a month or two behind by the time I started, so I binged every episode in about 10 days. I quickly fell in love with the story, the characters, the world, but especially the podcast. You guys held me up. You gave me something to look forward to. You helped me feel emotions I was holding at bay. Literally tearing up as I typed this. I stuck with you, the professor, and the Muggle to the very end, and what a satisfying end it was. I've since fallen off of listening as faithfully as I did before, but as soon as I heard the Muggle was leaving the show, I knew I had to write in to say thank you. Thank you for being willing to read a series you had very little interest in reading. Thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for crying when I cried, and for laughing when I laughed. Thank you for your unrelenting defense of Rita Skeeter. Though personally, I think she's horrible. Thank you for the angry rants and the passion you displayed as you grew to love this story as much as I do. Thank you for letting me take this journey with you and giving me place to grieve in my own way. Good luck on wherever you adventure next. Muggle Out will remain my all-time favorite sign-off. Take care, and for the millionth time, thank you. Kelly. P.S. Also, thanks Atari Alex for being a fellow geek in the workplace and introducing me to a pretty freaking awesome community. Forever grateful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Also, on a
Kelly.
lighter note, can we just talk about how much Atari Alex has weaseled his way into this show? And I don't even know if there's an email from him yet.
There is.
Yet.
Yeah, I was like, we have to be getting close somewhere.
Hey, when he's watching the live show, he can kind of gauge where we're at.
Right. It's funny because his ears must be burning. Because I am thrilled to get to read this next email.
Yes.
From Atari Alex.
Let's go.
Woo.
I get to do the Atari Alex email, guys. Woohoo! It's my I've never done it. What do we want to do one of these? Here we go.
History.
Atari.
Here we go.
It's made this whole night worth it right here for me. It made my night. Dear Josh, Marissa, Joe, and Brent. Sorry, Matt.
Ooh.
Well, you guys didn't advertise Matt being back. You just
True.
said special guest.
It is
so.
true.
I
It is
understand.
true. Atari Alex says, well, the day has finally arrived. To be honest, I knew this day would come eventually. Once Matt left and the show kept going with our two wonderful new co-hosts, I knew that Josh would leave the show at some point too. So while I am saddened to see him go, I've been prepared. But this isn't goodbye. For one thing, there's still the fantastic weekly podcast, The Castle Vault, which Josh hosts, and everyone out there should listen to. I second that. Especially if you like to hear even more of my inane ramblings and nitpicking. And I also know that he'll be around for all of the Butterbeer banters and for future Fantastic Beasts movies, which I am now purely watching so I can disagree with all of his opinions. But in the meantime, Josh, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for starting this show and everything you've done to build and support this family for all these years. We literally wouldn't have any of this without you, and I can't express how much this little old podcast about some kids' books means to me. It's not goodbye, but we are going to miss you, buddy. Thanks, Atari Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Now are you crying?
Nope, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you are, though. Not crying.
All right. Last email from Emily from Alaska.
Are you saying Alex was in the last email?
I know. Disappointing.
My last show, Alex, and you couldn't even get that.
Ouch.
Anyway, hi, Emily.
Hello, Tales from Godric's Hollow team. Josh, while I am sorry to hear you go, I understand your reasoning too. This world is a complicated place at baseline, and the situation just put it into a blender at top speed. Firstly, I would like to thank you for continuing to go out to this world as an essential. As one myself, I can relate to the risk it poses as well as the added stress. On the podcast, you are a bright and fun personality, and I feel safe assuming that you are off air as well. Those you interact with out in the world are quite fortunate to have someone so sunny tend to their needs. Secondly, thank you for starting this journey with Matt. Tales from Godric's Hollow was the first podcast I found when I ventured into this realm of entertainment. I sure struck gold right off. It's been an adventure, and I am honored to be privy to. Your theories and insights have provoked many new ones for myself. I looked forward to each episode, not only for the entertainment value, but for the company of friends, which I consider you to be. It has introduced me to other friends, not just in the community, but also in Joe and Marissa as they have stepped up to the mic. Some other podcasts I follow closely, I regularly follow really ought to give a thanks as well, as I wouldn't have found them without this podcast and thus you. Unfortunately, it is on you to get those from them to make sure wow, I don't know what's going on here. Unfortunately, it is on you to get those from them. So make sure to bug the Castle Vault and beam me up because you earned those thank yous. Oh, I got lost there. Thirdly, I want to wish you luck and safety going forward. Being an essential isn't a walk in the park. Social distancing and isolation/quarantine is far from easy. Assisting the kids in their distance learning is complicated on multiple levels, and then there's just regular life. I pray you stay safe and healthy and more or less sane. Thank you for being here and doing this for all of us through all of our thick and thin, the highs and lows. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you when I see you. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you, indeed.
All right, that is it for the emails.
All right.
We did it.
That's a lot. You guys warned me.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah. Wow. You guys are great. I got to say, being on this, usually I'm on the other side of this email thing, right? Being on this side of it, you really get an appreciation for just how amazing and awesome and tight-knit and I want to say the word generational, but that's not right. But how this community just spans so many different people in so many different walks of life from so many different places and so many different backgrounds and personalities. And I don't know if you can fully appreciate that without being on this side of seeing those emails. I mean, I hate to say we're great, but like, it's just amazing. Like it really, really is. And I mean, Matt and Josh, what you two started, Joe and Marissa, what you two have jumped into and what you guys are carrying on is it's just amazing, guys. It really is. And I know that you guys have all said that the most unexpected thing out of this entire journey was the community that has brought up around this, but it's just really, really phenomenal. So,
what I think really took the emails and stuff to the next level was when we got people emailing in to communicate with another emailer through our show.
Sure.
And I'm like, that is just a whole nother level. And I'm like, okay. I like that just kind of solidified community, not just, fans of us or something like that, but it's like these people all want to talk to each other.
Yeah, people talk. Sorry, what?
Marissa and Mel.
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah. Like, people will talk about like friends on the internet aren't real friends. I met Mel through this podcast, and I literally went to Australia and stayed for 2 weeks.
Yeah, right after you agreed to do the show.
Right. I don't want to talk about the terrible internet I had in Australia, but I mean, I have met so many great people. Some of my really good friends, like you four, I've really gotten to know you guys really well. And if it wasn't for this podcast, I wouldn't have you guys. I wouldn't have Mel. I wouldn't have a lot of things. And I'm really glad that I got into this podcast when I did, when I originally listened to it. And who would have thought that I would be here now hosting and moving forward without Josh. So.
And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have Leon. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo that same thing. I mean, Joe's come down and stayed here at the house and hung out and played with my kids, and we got to share a different love of fandom in football. And I mean, Matt and I are working on a project together, right now, and that's taken off, doing some great stuff, and getting to hang out with some of you guys at the theme park. And I mean, Marissa, I'm still waiting on my invitation, but you know. But I mean, but even to, you know, as you mentioned, several of the other people through the emails that I've never had a personal chance to meet. It's just amazing how this is all kind of crossed over.
It really has.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, guys, why don't we turn the corner here? All right, as we kind of round out this show, we'll give a chance for everyone to sort of, I guess, say their goodbyes to Josh, and Matt or Josh will wrap up with you at the end and kind of give you the last word. But if you don't mind, like I'd like to go first because I didn't write in an email, obviously, because I was going to be here. Thank you for having me. But I mean, it's. I kind of just said I think about everything I'd really want to say of I echo everything that everybody has said here of thank you so much. Thank you for putting your stuff out there, allowing us to join you and to be on this journey. Because what it is, the people kept talking about what it is to relive this experience through the eyes of somebody reading it for the very first time, and have somebody talk back to us, and not only that, but to do it at such a snail's pace where you really get a chance to dive deep into the material, to think about it in ways you really never got to see it before. And just the anticipation, Josh, of what you just came in super vulnerable, and even to the place, like I remember of your reaction to Cedric, which I thought was over the top and just way blown out of proportion, knowing what was coming one book later was serious. And that entire time in between those two of just going, what's he going to do? I mean, Matt, the number of emails that you and I had exchanges, just you and I can imagine what you had with other people of what's Josh going to do when we get to that moment, you know, and leading up to the tweet with JK that you referenced earlier in the show. I mean, it's just been amazing. And really, truly, thank you for what you've done in this community. And I can't be more excited for what's happening next. The show, the growth, the evolution for where things are going. But, you know, for now, thank you, Josh Brown.
Thank you. And you know what? I'm glad I gave you a chance back in the day when we first met. Do you remember that?
I'm not sure. I feel like you've said this before, but I don't remember.
Yeah. So the first time you ever interacted with Matt and I was a tweet to one of your friends. And you're like, hey, check out this Tales from Godric's Hollow show. It's about Harry Potter. We could totally do it so much better. What do you think? And I was like, this dude. God, I don't even know who this guy is. I'm on your Twitter profile. I'm like, okay, stand-up comedian. I'm like, okay, so he got jokes. I was like, okay, I couldn't tell how serious you were, but I was like, okay, I'll keep my eye on you, buddy. I'll see where this goes. But your first tweet to us was calling us out and being able to do it better with one of your friends. I don't know how that worked out for you, but
well, apparently it didn't work out because Tales from Godric's Hollow is the only Harry Potter podcast. So obviously,
yeah.
Indeed.
The legit story behind that, the way I got to the show is because I was thinking about starting a Harry Potter podcast, and I came in and I always like to see what people are doing out there, and I found you guys like week 1, and I was listening. I went, man, this is fantastic, and I never did the Harry Potter podcast because you guys were already doing it so well. Like I was like, I can't compete with that, so I'm gonna let them have it, and I'll go do my other thing. And turns out I had a pretty good deal going on something else anyway. But I didn't do it because you guys were doing it so well. So it's so funny that you say that because I don't remember that, and it had to have been a joke.
I mean, if it was based off that first episode, then you were totally in bounds for saying it.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. I think I even texted Matt. I was like, you see this guy on Twitter? Like, what's this? I think it was a couple of weeks later when you emailed about, you know, you're like you worked in sound and you know, you had some tips and tricks and helping the editing process and all that. I'm like, okay. I still remember your tweet though, so
keeping the arm's length.
Yeah.
Jerk.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm. Here he is, hosting my show. So.
There you go. Well, Matt, do you want to go next, buddy?
I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. anybody that knows me knows I'm not a deep talker necessarily, but Josh, buddy, it's been a long time. We've known each other for many years now. I'm very thankful to call you my friend.
Same.
And it's when we started, like I was partially joking because I just wanted to prove that telling you we could do this as a podcast was actually the magic word to get you to do something. And so when you finally did agree to it, like it launched me into podcasting. So I have you to thank for that. And I love this world that I've gotten into. And if you had said no at that point, I don't think any of this would have happened. Like I would have needed to find a catalyst for this elsewhere, and who knows when I would have, reached out to someone again to see if they wanted to do it. So I'm very thankful for that. I'm thankful that even though I haven't been on the show for a while, I've still gotten to talk to you, still gotten to hang out with you. I mean, we take trips to, Harry Potter World and Disney and all the other things. So, yeah, thank you. And I know you'll still be around. So,
I will never forget your text. I think it's like the first text after we hung out and we talked about doing the show, and then we went our separate ways. It was like a week later, and you're like, "So, are you serious about this Harry Potter podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. Tell me what the name is. Tell me, what I need to know. I'll buy the first book. We'll see what happens." And you're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course. I told you yes."
Yeah, so, that was your last thing for me to check off the list. Is like, you need to come up with a name for it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So I went and brainstormed. I came up with a list of at least 10. I know. I think the list I gave you was 10 long. Mm-hmm. But I had a list of names, and I sent it out to friends and family and got them to help me narrow it down, got their opinions and everything. And I mean, it just came down to it. Like, everybody's like, yeah. Anyone who knew Harry Potter is like, yeah, Tales from Godric's Hollow. Yes. I think I even checked with Val on that one.
Now, and our friend Colin.
Yes.
Listening. Yeah. He had input too. So yeah. And I told you, I was like, I don't know what to call it, so I can't help you there.
Yep. I understood that, but
yeah. And I told you, I was like, I will give you the first book. That's all I will promise you.
That's all you promised.
Yeah. So.
And if memory serves, you pretty much committed to doing the whole thing, like, by chapter 12.
Probably.
It was near the end of book 1. Yes.
Yeah.
Marissa?
Okay. I mean, I've said most stuff that I wanted to say already, but I'm probably going to cry. So be prepared, everyone.
Let's go.
No, this podcast was one of the first podcasts that I got into, like, really, like, emailed in and was interacting on social media and everything. And it became more than just people talking about a book that I loved. It became, people have said it became a community, it became family, it became really, really good friends. I met Mel, who I podcast with now, actually, and she's one of my best friends, and I wouldn't have any of you guys if it wasn't for this podcast. And it gave me part of an outlet that I needed to really express myself. And I originally got into podcasting with Mel, actually. It came at a time where I really needed that emotional and creative outlet because I was going through a lot of things. And having this added on to that was kind of a dream come true, because I know so much about Harry Potter that I can just talk for hours about it, which is what this is. But Josh, I'm gonna miss talking to you every week about all of this. I mean, I know we'll still talk. We're still friends. It just, I can't thank you and Matt enough for starting this to where it's gotten this big, and we have all of these people that I consider them friends. They might consider themselves fans or friends, whichever you prefer. But it wouldn't be here without either of you, and I cannot thank you enough.
When Matt decided he was going to leave the show, and I was like, okay, I'm going to keep it going. And I think one of the first things I told him, I was like, so I'm probably going to have Marissa as a co-host, but I'm thinking a 3-person rotation. But I was like, Marissa's definitely in as long as she wants to do it. Matt's like, well, yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah.
as if that's a question. But
Right.
It before I was even close to reaching out to you, Marissa, it was like that was going to happen. And
well, as soon as you said you wanted to co-host, I was like, okay, here's my application. Tell me if you want me.
But don't be silly.
Right. You're like, of course. Well, what's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your friendship means the world. So
hurt.
All right, Joe.
Oh no.
You're up. Yeah. Oh no. Josh, I hate your guts. No, I was a podcast virgin before I met you, Josh. And I ruined it. He ruined it, is what really happened. Now, I remember when Matt left and you were looking for a new co-host, and I was just like, I think I could do this. I'm not 100% sure if I could do this, but I really think I can. I think I could talk a lot. I really like Harry Potter. I loved getting into the details and learning new things. Like, let me just send in what I have. I knew I had a decent chance. I did not think that I was definitely going to get it. I thought it would be really cool to do a show with you because, like I said earlier, you just seemed like, and Matt too, I just felt like we were friends the whole time. And then until we met in Florida and I had my Dean Thomas shirt on and I was just like, this is exactly how I thought it was going to go. It was just like, I've known you guys all my entire life. So I knew that we kind of had that camaraderie and we kind of played off each other a little bit. I was like, this could work. And they kind of know me because we've met in Florida. And let me just throw my application out there and see what happens. And then I remember getting the text message. I'd just gotten home from work. And you're just like, so, you want to be a co-host with me? Like, oh, also, Marissa's a host too. And I was just like, whoa. And yeah, and since then it's been great getting to continue to build my friendship with you as well as work on a project together. And I know a lot of times when you're focused on one thing, like the personal stuff kind of takes a backseat and you're just focused on the one task. But what I liked about what we did, we were always talking personal stuff and building this community. Like it was both. We had that 30 minutes prior to our call where we're just all talking together and giving random takes on random wrestling stuff or movies that we watched or shows that we watched. And it was that friendship and that camaraderie. And it was kind of like everything that I expected it to be. And I was like, this is awesome. So now moving through the series and just building that, when I heard that you were leaving, I was bummed. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to continue to keep it going and get into different things, but I understand the reasoning, and I am going to mirror what Marissa said, that I'm going to miss talking to you on a weekly basis, even though, again, you're not dying, as you said in your text message to me the other day.
It's a celebration of life. I was like, well, that's what they call funerals. So
Right.
this is not your funeral. No, this is a celebration. But I just want to thank you for welcoming me into this community. I always knew this community was great, but experiencing it from this other side has been amazing. And to now be able to do my best with Marissa in attempting to move it forward. It's again another exciting adventure to go on and seeing what else we can do. And I've told you this before, the door is always open. If you ever need your Harry Potter fix again, you're welcome back at any time. No matter what. You come knocking on the door, we'll let you in. Because like Hogwarts, Tales will always be home for you. So, thank you. Love you. And talk to you soon.
All right, guys. That's the show.
Hold on. When after Marissa and I had already decided it was going to be a 3-person show, and she was definitely, one of them, and everybody sent in their applications. I knew I wanted Joe, but I didn't want to tell Marissa that because I wanted like her completely unbiased opinion based on all the resumes that were sent in and what she thought of everybody. And like there was no hesitation that like she wanted it to be Joe, and I was like, oh thank God, because this get real ugly real fast.
What a terrible decision you made, Marissa. Look what you've gotten yourself into.
Dang it.
But yeah, man, it's been a while. I don't think I've ever been sweatier in my life than when you and I ran through Universal Studios trying to find a homemade leather wand holder.
Yep.
From a place that we didn't know actually existed. From a store we didn't know the name of.
Right. Because then they wouldn't give it to us. It was like, yeah, they have wand holders.
Yeah. Man, we ran all over that park looking for something we didn't know what we were looking for, and it was so hot, and it was the end of the day, and I was like, yeah, this is a cool dude right here. Like he is dedicated to this.
It's like fighting a troll. You can't help it.
It's like hunting horcruxes in the wilderness.
Yeah,
you don't know what you're looking for and you don't know where to find it.
We could have camped. It would have been great. Universal might have kicked us out, but whatever. Who cares?
I think Matt and Brent actually thought that we just died. Like they didn't know where we were.
I think we were gone for an hour. It might have been an hour.
Matt and I were just hanging out in front of Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville.
Yep.
Just kicking back.
We were just dripping sweat. We were so nasty. It was
Don't come to Florida in July, man. That was your problem.
Look, I finished the reread once and I get a trip to Florida. I finish it a second time and I get kicked off the show. I mean, I don't even understand how this works, but
hey Josh, for whatever it's worth, as soon as they reopen, you can come down here, you can stay with us. I will take you back for a full run through of the Wizarding World right now.
I will need it soon for sure.
I will, and hot butter beer will make sure you get the actual good stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, so good.
And Joe, one day I'm going to make it out to New York. Like New York is so high on my list of places I want to go, and hearing what an exceptional tour guide you are of New York, like I cannot wait for that.
I think I walked 50,000 steps that day. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I forget what it was, but it was the most I ever walked in my entire life.
Yeah.
Josh, you do that, you let me know. We'll make it another Tales meetup, and we'll get tickets for Cursed Child and go see that too while we're there.
Yeah, it's so good. You got to.
Yeah.
But I may crash your wedding still, so just know what's happening. Okay.
One of my favorite things is just going back and forth with you throughout the show on the most random stuff, and Marissa's just either on the brunt end of it, or she's just waiting for us to finish so she could get a take in. Because I know there were multiple times where she's trying to talk, and then I just jump in, and then
I'm just like, fine.
I just jump in,
it's fine.
And then there's that dead silence, and it's just like Marissa's turn, go. But I loved doing the show the way it was, but I'm also looking forward to what it's going to be.
Yeah, you guys are gonna kill it.
All right, Josh, buddy. 195 episodes in. It's your final one. It's your final words.
Mm-hmm.
The floor is yours, my friend.
Okay. I could spend this time having some hot takes, and I thought about it. I really did, but it didn't seem right. So many things I want to talk about and point out, and just kind of show love to. First of all, like the entire community. I said this a long time ago, and I don't think I've said it enough, but I was very aware at how solidified the Harry Potter community was as a whole. And usually when communities around a fandom are that tight, it's hard to get into them without pushback and gatekeeping and that sort of thing. The Harry Potter community is completely opposite of all of that. Like, I came in so dumb and so ignorant, and I may still be leaving dumb and ignorant, but y'all have accepted me from the get-go as I journey through this world and have pushed me along and encouraged me and kept me going. And it's been refreshing to jump into a fandom so, I don't want to say late in life because it feels like I'm about to die, but like, so late
Celebration of life, Josh.
It happens to the best of us. So late after the fact of like when it was established, and it's been, I've had zero pushback since day one. And that makes me excited to hopefully experience that with other fandoms in my life. And, just a reminder that, a lot of things on the internet are awful, but the Harry Potter internet community is a beautiful, wonderful place. And I couldn't be more thankful for that. All of you that have emailed it, not just tonight, but over the last 3.5 years, has been incredible. I wish I could have been more a part of the emails the first 2 years, because I feel like there's a lot of things that I missed out on because I wasn't allowed to know certain things because somebody over here had to prevent me from knowing things. Matt. But like, just having emails come in, not even weekly, like daily, seeing emails from everybody in the community about what we're doing was a constant reminder of whatever I'm doing with whoever I'm doing it with means something to someone else. And that in itself meant the world to me. You guys, all of you out there went, you traveled and you shared pictures of awesome places and awesome food. You all shared stories of success and failure and heartbreak and tragedy and trials and tribulations. And all of that was incredibly hard to read on a regular basis. This sucks so much. Fantasy football was fun because I put little effort into it and still almost beat Joe, so that was pretty cool because he took it too seriously. No, it had been years since I'd done fantasy football, and being able to do it with amazing friends and people was a lot of fun. Being able to talk about wrestling with people was so cool. We had like chats during pay-per-views. Joe and I would talk about wrestling in the most random times during the show, before the show, after the show, texting throughout the week. Marissa, you had a wrestling podcast.
For a while, yeah.
I mean, I met so many people that loved something as much as I did, or liked it, or appreciated it, or had some connection to it. And wrestling, me getting into Harry Potter as an adult is how I felt being a wrestling fan as like a teenager. Awkward and like kind of embarrassed to like admit that you were into it, because people would be like, oh, you like wrestling, like that's fake, right? And well, yeah, so is every movie and TV show you watch, but it's the same thing. So like having like this weird wrestling connection during the show was incredible. All of the gifts that I received over the last several years from random people, sometimes they were addressed from who they were, sometimes they were anonymous. Unbelievable. Not just like purchase gifts, but homemade gifts, like the Crookshanks picture that I showed. Just mind blowing. Every time I'd see a package addressed to the Muggle, and I'm like, why are people sending me stuff? Like I don't deserve this. LeakyCon was amazing. It was such a good trip. It was amazing spending time with you three on my screen. Brent, you weren't there, but you were there in spirit. And Mel B and Leon. I feel like I'm missing somebody from our meet. I mean, Val was there, obviously. And then being able to meet people at LeakyCon. All the conventions I've gone to, I've always just felt like a fan. Like even the ones that I had panels at, the panels I did with Matt,
yep,
where we had like legit celebrities sitting next to us, and I always still felt like a fan. And somehow at LeakyCon, I felt like a bigger deal than I should be, and that was super weird.
He's kind of a big deal, guys.
Not us,
I mean, it's a special moment when people not just show up to a panel, they may or may not know you, but when someone you've never met hears your voice and stops you in the middle of a hallway, and it's like, I know you, I want to talk with you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's the next level.
Yeah. The whole LeakyCon experience was amazing, and I hope that Tales from Godric's Hollow continues to advance in the LeakyCon ranks, and I know you all, if you push hard enough, are going to show them what they missed out on this last time, because I think that we had a lot to offer and we didn't get a chance to, and that still sucks.
The squeaky wheel gets the oil, my friend.
Exactly.
Squeak, squeak.
I could go on forever about just like my favorite memories of the show and doing this. It was a weekly thing that I didn't ever feel like I had to do, but it felt like something I looked forward to doing, even when weeks were tough. And I couldn't, and I had to rearrange things and reschedule things, and having two people in two different time zones in two different places in the United States, or not two different time zones, same time zones, but rescheduling with multiple people across the country was always difficult. And I always felt like a burden when that would have to happen. Matt was, super easy with rescheduling with, because I mean, it's Matt. Look at this guy; he's laid back and chill,
living the dream.
Yeah, look, no cares in the world. But it was always something that I looked forward to. It something I wanted to do, something I loved doing, and deciding to walk away was incredibly hard. Full confession: the first person, aside from Val, that I talked to about it was Matt. And I texted him, I said, how did you know it was time to step away? And he goes, if you're asking that question, you already know. And I was like, damn, you're right. Stop being the professor, Matt. Just give me some bad advice once, okay?
What a sage.
Yeah. So it was tough. But ultimately, I know I'm leaving for the right reasons. I'm leaving under the best circumstances I could possibly leave under. We finished the second read through, that was a goal, and I'm glad that we got there together. What a journey. What a journey. Just overall. I have to thank some people specifically. Like, I could go through everybody that emails in, and you all know who you are and why you're special to me. But Melby, thank you for always being awesome. Like, you've supported us for so long. Meeting you in Boston was incredible. Honestly, like, knowing how good of a friend you are to Marissa, and like, you guys have each other's back, is special. Like, that's something you don't take lightly. And yeah, it's been amazing having you on this journey, Mel B, and I hope you continue to support these two as they move forward. Atari Alex.
Again,
I know. His head, his ego is going to be out of control by the end of the show. But, like, I have known Atari Alex, the online persona that is Atari Alex, for what, 8 years now? 7 years now? Like, I knew Alex before he went to college, through college, moving back, getting married, having a kid, almost having a second kid. I feel I have grown up with Atari Alex in such a weird, amazing way. I've never met the guy in person. I may never meet the guy in person because I still am not convinced he's a real person. But we know he is. But I don't know what it is about our weird connection. But I value his emails, and I know if I ever need anything, weirdly, I could probably go to him for something. And I hope he feels the same way about me. And God, the rest of this is going to be really hard because I'm choking up about Atari Alex.
Who would have thought?
he's going to really hold that over your head.
Yeah, I know. That's what happens. Brent, thank you, sir, for everything that you've done. Supporting us, helping us, pushing us, being a friend, showing us around. Like, my first experience at Walt Disney World was because of you. When I look back and have those memories at that park, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when Brent told us this. You remember when he showed us this? Do you remember when he took us over here? You remember when he was trying to tell me about a statue for 30 minutes and all he wanted to do was go on the next ride? And I was like, little things that I will appreciate and value forever. Like, it was amazing. And knowing that you are hopefully going to be helping these two out in the future, knowing how you and Matt have connected and you guys are working together now. And, you haven't been a constant emailer, but everybody in the community knows that you're always in the background somewhere. You're always lurking in some way, shape, or form. And anything that we ever needed, I knew that we could probably come to you if that was the case. And thank you. And good luck with the Bucks.
Are you?
May the pewter never fade.
Yeah. Joe, what else can I say?
I love it when you cry.
Sucks. Just hold on. Thank you for Matt, how come this wasn't as hard for you as it was for me? I don't understand. Joe, thank you for
Love you, buddy. Keep it
up. You've been amazing, Joe. God, this sucks for a podcast. I know I can't have dead silence. Like, okay. You have always been there. You know when I just need somebody to talk to. Okay. Got this. You're amazing, and I know you're going to do amazing things with this show. And I look forward to seeing where you're going to take this. I know how driven you are. I know how good of a person you are. And this community is in good hands. I will probably have more to say to you, but I can't do it right.
Sorry, love you, buddy.
This is not going to be any easier. You have been with us for so long, and I knew when I was going to need a co-host that you were going to be one of them. And I'm glad I made that decision, because the show wouldn't be here without you at this point. And I know how much you care about not just Harry Potter, but I know how much you care about this community. And I think it is tough having somebody that's emotional on the show as well, because Joe is so level-headed with things.
Yeah.
I feel like if I had two Joes on the show, I could be a lot tougher, and I could be stronger with things. But having somebody like you, who's equally as vulnerable as I am with really dumb things sometimes, makes it hard. Yeah. And I appreciate that. I really do. Meeting you and Leon was such a treat, and you've never felt like a stranger. You've never felt like just an online friend. Like, you've always felt like a friend, and thank you for that. And you and Joe are going to kill it. So keep him in check, please.
I will.
Because he's going to get out of control.
Never going to happen. We're renaming the show Lupin is a Legilimens.
Just know that Leon is sending you heart.
No.
In the background. I didn't know if you saw it or not.
I saw hand movements, but yeah.
I thought it was a Vila.
I want to say thank you, of course, to the wonderful Val, who's downstairs watching this. Without her, I don't know how I would have gotten through the series. The first couple weeks of doing the show, I read by myself, and it sucked. I am not a sit down and read a book kind of guy. And she immediately was like, do you want me to read to you? Like, because she saw me trying to stop and take notes and try to keep up with things. And she was like, we could totally just like sit down and I'll read to you and you can take your notes and we'll just do this every week. And I was like, yeah, I don't want anything else other than that forever. She supported me when I told her I was going to do the show. She supports me every time I tell her I'm going to do a new show. Sometimes I forget to tell her I'm going to do a new show, and then we start a new show, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" but she's never once made me feel bad about being here, doing this podcast. She's never gave me any grief about it. She, lets me sit up here for hours and hours and hours every week doing this, and she's been my rock through all of it. Everybody always points to like how tough it was for Matt to like go through this series, and like all like the main points that he was going to get to with us. Like, she had to experience it first before anybody else. Seeing her face when she had to read that Dobby died, it broke me, because she didn't want me to know. So, I mean, obviously hats off to Matt and everything, but like I think people forget, like, she had to be there first to like get me through the hard times, and wouldn't have done it without her. And it was weird doing the second read through without her reading it, but like her time was limited. She didn't have time to do it, and I needed to fit it in where I could, and it didn't involve her, and that it felt weird. It felt different. I didn't like it at first, but I feel like that's like just setting up the future of this show, where it's going to feel weird, it's going to feel different, and people aren't going to like it at first, but it will be awesome, and it will be good, and yeah. So Val, thank you for everything, of course, and thanks to this show, she always has gift ideas for me now, because Harry Potter is an endless supply of merch and gifts, so she, I'm sure, is thankful for that. Matt. Who knew we'd be here, man? Like, like I said, I gave you my promise of the first book, and that was it. I didn't think I was gonna go farther than that when I started, but I committed to the first book for you, and like Brent said, like I pretty quickly decided to commit to the whole series. Now, I will say, I did buy the books one at a time.
I remember checking with you near the end of each book. It's like, you have the next one ready? It's like, just order it on Amazon.
So like, as far as like mentally and emotionally committing to the show for the full series, like financially, I wasn't on the hook for any of it. Like, I was like, okay, I got the next book. That's as far as I'm going to go financially with it. I knew in my heart of hearts I was going to go through the whole thing, but just in case something went off the rails, I was like, that next book looks really big. I'm probably not going to buy that yet. But like, I wouldn't be here without you, Matt. We wouldn't be here without you. This show wouldn't be here without you. This community wouldn't be. Everybody's thanking me tonight, but everything should be directed towards you, because this was your idea. This was your peer pressure that made it happen. This was your love of Harry Potter that made it happen. And I owe the world to you for all of this. And it's I knew you for several years before we started this show. It's been just an honor and a pleasure to grow our friendship even more because of it. Getting to travel together. I mean, you came and slept with Dobby on my couch. Not many people can say that. It's been a heck of a ride, and I have definitely missed you. we don't talk as much. You're busy. I'm busy. We're all doing things. When you're have a scheduled meeting with somebody on a weekly basis, it's easy to connect with them. And when you lose that, it's hard to connect with them as often as you'd like. But, I always knew I could text you at any minute, at any time, day or night, with the most random question or thought ever, and you wouldn't even bat an eye. You'd be like, yeah, this totally makes sense. We haven't talked to him in 2 months, but like this text totally makes a lot of sense, or whatever the case is. It's been all because of you. And, I have a new love in my life because of you. I have amazing new friends because of you. And I have, I'm part of a community that I will cherish forever because of you. And not only you, your wife. Like, I don't think Becca ever got enough credit on the show that she deserved. She was in the background. She sent me a squid that she made herself. An artwork quote framed. Her encouragement in the background was always something special. And even though I've only hung out with her a couple times at this point, like, she feels like family as much as you do. And so thank her for me.
Will do.
That's all I got. I can't do anymore, guys. I can't. That's it. That's all. If I forgot anybody or anything, I'm so sorry, but that's the best I could do.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for us. That's going to bring us all the way here to the end. So we'll go around the horn and ask everybody where they can find you out on the internet. And then, Josh, we're going to ask you to close out the show one final time. Matt, let's start with you.
As always, the best place to find me is over on Twitter at As a Matter of Matt. As I mentioned at the top of the show, if you're interested in my other ventures, mattsonnenberg.com. You can find out what I'm up to there.
If you guys want to get in touch with me, you can find me at Brent Allen Live across all the social medias, including some of my other works and stuff out there as well. Joe, Marissa.
Okay, I'll go. If people want to reach out to me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Rissaru312. If they want to check out the podcast I do with Mel B, the Australian, they can go to mmpodcastnetwork.com.
And you can always find me on Instagram or the Twitter at Custom Vinyl Lush. Just a heads up for those of you who may be wondering what we're covering in next week's episode. It is the week that is right before Mother's Day. So we're going to take a look at the theme of a mother's love and its significance throughout the Harry Potter series. So if you want to prepare some emails for that, you can always send it in, talesfromgodrixhollow@gmail.com.
It's weird having to say it, huh? Off memory.
Yeah, it's all right. I've been getting Alohomora Hogwarts has gotten me a little bit more keen
Prepared.
to it.
Well, I'm going to prepare an email about Petunia and her motherly love for Harry. So I
don't think it'll make it to the show.
Oh, no.
Darn it.
We lost it.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, shucks.
Spam folder. Everybody knows they could find me on Twitter, Instagram at The Noise. That's NOYSE. You could please send me a message over there. I'm not going away. I'm going to be around. Like, reach out to me. I still want to be part of everybody's lives. So reach out, say hi. People have even tracked me down on Facebook. That's cool too. Whatever. I'm an open book, so that's where you could find me. Also, I have not once actually officially ever plugged this on this show because I wanted to keep things separate, and I don't want people to think I am leaving one for another. But I do another podcast. It's called The Castle Vault. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at The Castle Vault, spelled exactly the way you think it is. My buddy and I, Jason, Matt knows very well. We do a podcast, and we are rewatching all of the Disney animated movies one at a time. We started back with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. We're going in order. We've done 23 episodes now. It's been a fun thing to do with somebody I hadn't podcasted with in a while, but also it's created like a family movie event at the house every week, and that's been incredibly fun. So check us out if you're a fan of Disney, if you're a fan of the animated films, if you just miss my voice and you want to hear me on another podcast. But I don't want anybody to think that I'm leaving this show to do that one, because like I said, we're 23 episodes in, and I never really plugged it here because I wanted to be a separate thing. And but yeah, I would appreciate if you all checked it out and let me know what you think about it. Joe, you could do all the plugs for the show.
Well, okay. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at Tales from Godric's Hollow. You can also get us on the Twitter at Tales from GH. And if you want to see all the new tiers that we're going to be doing and all the fun stuff we're going to be adding to our Patreon, you can go check us out at patreon.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. Back to you, Muggle.
That's it? Nobody has anything else?
It's you, brother.
Don't make me do this.
It's all you.
Until next time, as always, Muggle out.
Mischief managed.